This is a Headgum podcast.
Hey, buddy, it's the Burger Boy. I want to tell you about a live stream event right here at Headgum featuring me and Mike Mitchell, the Spoon Man, as well as Hollywood Handbook, Amir Blumenfeld, Lamar Woods, and a bunch of other special guests. It is called Geoffardy and is 1 week from today, Thursday, June 13th at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. This is live streaming. You can get tickets at moment.co/Geoffardy, spelled Geoffardy. Now, what is Geoffardy exactly? Your guess is as good as mine. We're going to find out together, and we're going to have a lot of fun. So check it out. The Doughboys and a bunch of other Headgum All-Stars, Geoffardy, next Thursday. Right now, enjoy this week's show. Oh, look, my favorite New York pizza place. I'm going to go get me a New York slice. This was Michael Scott on Season 2 of The Office, as he excitedly approached a Manhattan outlet of a widely derided pizza chain. The confidently oblivious Michael Scott, portrayed by Steve Carell, was the Yankee parallel of the original UK Office's David Brent, portrayed by series co-creator Ricky Gervais, whose stance on religion is unknown. The joke was on Carell's character's cluelessness and classlessness, that he'd view a strip mall fixture as an authentic representation of a New York-style pizza. But Scott was, in a sense, correct, because decades before it became a ready-made fast food punchline, just as Arby's was to The Simpsons and Seinfeld. Scott's spot was an authentic Brooklyn Salumeria launched in 1956 by married Italian immigrants. While modern consumers often assume the brand name is an invented Paisano pastiche, it was in fact Napolitano co-founders Carmela and Gennaro's legal last name. The shop's slices were such a hit among its heavily Italian expat clientele that it spawned a second pizza-centric location, and in the 1970s, the popular parlor expanded to Brooklyn's Kings Plaza Mall, establishing the template for its future food court omnipresence. Today, it's hard to believe the chain began as an authentic stateside representation of Neapolitan-style pizza with its bland aesthetic and 600-plus interchangeable restaurants. In the same way that The Office quietly began as a 12-episode BBC Two series, before birthing an international sitcom franchise with versions in a dozen countries, the hit Office Ladies Recap podcast, an annual DunderCon Fan Expo, a $1 million cameo account for the guy who played Kevin, and an absolutely necessary upcoming reboot. This week on Doughboys, Sbarro. Welcome to Doughboys, the podcast about chain restaurants. I'm Nick Weiger, along with my co-host, Salacious B. Cum, the Spoon Man, Mike Mitchell.
It should be B. Crim.
I didn't send the roast in, but that's a fair note.
We thought we were trying to cut that down this year.
Well, this is in the roast. I mean, all right. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not going to censor the roast.
Can I just call out quickly? Mm-hmm. I liked the intent of you guys making the resolution to say come less.
Yeah.
You've definitely been saying it more so far this year. Not only have you not been scaling it down, it's been increasing.
Oh, we've had some nasty episodes, so we gotta pull it back a little bit.
We have had some disgusting episodes. Yeah. This is gonna be great. We're gonna keep it clean today.
You did a double on semen as a meal. That was maybe a strategic error if you were trying to tone down the cum talk.
You did it. You just did the laugh.
I can't do it anymore. I used to be able to do it.
Hi, Doughboys.
I mean, not good. Everyone can do a salacious scrum. There you go.
That's fuck, man.
I can't. My voice, my throat is too dry.
Yeah. You know what'd be good to lubricate that throat?
Some salacious beak.
Just saying.
Grim.
Yeah. A little jazz.
Were you gonna try? Oh my God.
Can't get the register. Hi, Doughboy. Zachy B from Chicago here.
Jemmy is getting scared, by the way.
Like it.
Sorry, Jemmy.
Is that like 3 crypt keepers?
Hello, boys and ghouls. What a scarifying tale of the fun dead.
Today we talk about Sbarro. Stab?
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Hi, Doughboy. Zachy B from Chicago here. Can't tell you how proud I am of this roast. If you end up
Yikes.
using it, please see if the Spoon Man will attempt a salacious bee crumb-esque cackle, which he did. Thanks for many years of big laughs, and here's to 50 more.
I've
Oh,
done it
boy, Zach
before
B.
on the podcast. It sounds like.
roastedbirdfuck.com.
That's kind of like.
What's
you
a
sound crazy. You specifically. What's a what?
what? Like, do you have like a normal laugh you do that's not your regular laugh, like a laugh bit?
When I'm like trying to, I don't mean this in a way of the like I never laugh at anything, but I very rarely laugh. Well, the people watch the podcast, they're going to say that's not true.
Yeah, you do laugh.
Yeah,
There's a lot of evidence.
You love
of
to laugh.
yeah. If I'm with a group of people, I laugh. I'm not laughing like in a movie theater. I don't laugh a lot or something. I don't know. You're the same way. You don't laugh at a lot of stuff.
I'm a big time laugher. Are you kidding me?
I
I
guess
laugh
you
up a
do.
storm. I love to laugh.
People,
I love to laugh.
Wow. The Crypt Keeper, Salacious Crumbs got you. It's got your mood. It's got your energy up.
We're having fun.
It's
It's gonna be a fun day.
well, Nick, I too love to laugh.
Wow. Ha 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 ha.
I think that's. I mean, like, we all have a fake laugh?
I feel like I sometimes do like a like one of those guys. Kind of a hick
A
laugh.
classic.
That's. I think sometimes I'll do a big ha. You know, like
Oh yeah, that's good.
A half Nelson.
yeah.
I actually think I've noticed this since we moved to video how often you do a silent laugh, where it's all like in your face and your body expressions, but not vocal.
That's more. That's why I was saying I don't think I laugh.
Yeah.
I used
something
to.
you have in common with our audiences at live shows.
I still do laugh a lot.
Yeah.
I do laugh.
You do.
Yeah.
You're a laugher. It's fun to make.
I'm not gonna not laugh.
Yeah, I know. But I can also I feel like it's an earned laugh from the Spoon Man.
We get charged.
You're not an easy laugh.
We're charged with doing fake laughs on the show. I've read that before from people
Someone
online.
What do
once
you
said
want?
you laugh too much.
we
Yeah,
can
some
laugh.
people say we laugh too much.
I don't know,
Wow,
what do
it's
you want?
weird. It's almost like Redditors like to complain about contradictory things at the same time.
They say, well, you know, it's making me laugh. We talked about it right beforehand, where I said it'd be great to have something about Mary hair gel.
Yeah.
That's
Griffin
That's
told
right.
me that there was one, and then I did find it on.
You did find
You
it. There
found
you go.
it.
So, well, these were the free samples of something about Mary hair gel.
Yeah.
The studio sent my theater to hand out to attendees before an advanced screening of the film. People were
Wow.
actually putting it in their hair, having no idea what the joke was yet. And
That's really fun.
So
They
I
look
was
like
saying-
tartar sauce packets.
Yeah.
Honestly, they look.
I
kinda
had
gross.
this memory of there being a secondary something about Mary website that was specifically just for merch items,
yeah.
but it feels like it probably was just leftover promo shit. Because they were like
Oh.
odd little items like that. They were all
Mhm.
kind of little tchotchkes.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not finding that's the only one I'm. But also the issue is that it just
Right.
comes up with
Exactly.
it just comes up with this hair
The
gel
actual
scene.
scene.
Yeah.
Right.
But I also would imagine, like, if it came in like a sort of sturdier bottle, even if people use the hair gel, the bottles would still exist.
Yeah.
When it comes in like a fucking Taco Bell sauce packet,
It's true.
who has unused something about Mary hair gel?
Right. Who's holding on to that?
The
Unless-
richest
except for an
man in the world, if you
archivist.
ask
Yeah.
me.
Right.
It was the late 90s. Everyone had to put that hair gel, frost their tips up, you know?
It's a fun bit.
Yeah.
Here's what came up. Ben Stiller thought a hair gel scene and something about Mary wasn't believable. That's what he said. That was his. This is from 2013, which shows that we're very old.
I mean, it's kind of a cartoonish movie,
Yeah.
though. That's
Yeah.
a heightened tone.
I agree with that. Yeah.
I'm sure. I also, if you go through the clickbait, I'm sure he like talks about I wasn't, but then it's up there on the screen or something. It's probably overall a positive assessment.
I ain't trying to blast Stiller, producer of the
kinda
Birthday Boys
It sounded
show.
like you were.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Reading
Came to a
with the
Birthday
Phil.
Boys party when we were. Remember?
Did he
wasn't
play an instrument?
No.
Was
I mean,
anyone playing an
yeah,
instrument
well-
at the party?
The people were playing instruments at the party. Wags wasn't there.
Yeah, RSVP, no. But
Did you really?
I don't know. I'll do that sometimes.
Was there an RSVP? You maybe did.
Yeah.
It was the last party at the Birthday Boys house
Wow.
for
Farewell to
Donia
Palmerston.
Fest. No, that's
Oh, Palmerston was your apartment. Fredonia
Yes, that
was
we
the
recorded
Birthday
in.
Boys
What
one.
the hell?
I don't know. I got confused. I'm all scattered today. You know, there's two things going on. First off, I didn't get great sleep. I woke up at 2 hours before my alarm, so I was up at 4:30, and so I'm I've been up for 8 hours as of the start of this record.
Yeah. I
which
woke up
is-
2 hours after my alarm, so 4:30 p.m.
But also, Mitch, I'm dealing with this little curveball that I created for myself. This is a mess of my own making. I have migrated my show outlines from Google Docs, which I used for many years, to Pages. So I'm using a different app for my show outlines. So it's just kind of got me in a different sort of. I feel like I'm looking at this more than normal.
Now I feel like I've been awake for 8 hours.
All right, play your drop. We got to introduce our guest.
We're sleeping boys.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
We have very similar sleep schedules.
We're sleeping boys. And
Unfortunately.
you know what? Well, it's for Jimmy's licking my leg. It's very cute. It's for it's for a different episode we're recording, but
That's right. We have
last night was a late night for me. We'll talk
get
about
into
it when we get
We'll
into that.
But also, we will have gone into it 2 months earlier, maybe?
Yeah, so these episodes where Mitch, play the drop. We'll introduce our guest. We'll give context for everything.
But I don't want to play the drop.
Play the drop.
What does that do to you if I don't play the drop?
I guess I could just introduce the guest.
No, you can't do
more-
that.
It would
It's-
hurt my feelings, Mitch, is what it would do.
I'm not going to have this be the first episode we don't play a drop, even though I'm sure we've forgotten it in the past.
I'm sure we have. Jemmy just
Good
got on the
girl.
just got on the couch next to you.
And
wow.
for that, Jemmy, Emma, hit him with the drop.
When she tasted my acai bowl, she literally spit it out and went,
Wow. How do you say it? Acai?
People can't even pronounce it. Kai or acai. People can't even pronounce it.
Acai, which is a word I usually normally know.
People can't even pronounce it.
When I was looking at phonetic pronunciation, I saw a few different sources. I think it's acai.
That's it.
That's it.
That's the drop. Hi, guys. A Brazilian funk drop inspired by the acai debate. You guys nail the pronunciation, but don't worry either way. No one here pronounces hamburger properly. Wow. A Brazilian listener loved Fabricio from Brazil.
Wow.
Fabricio.
Wow. Thanks, Fabricio.
That's cool as hell.
That is cool.
How do they say hamburger in Brazil?
I don't know.
I don't know. In Portuguese, it's like hamburguesa. Or, I mean, in Spanish,
Oh.
it's hamburguesa. I don't know what it is in Portuguese.
Are they doing the Steve Martin Clouseau? Hamburger. Whatever he does for 15 minutes.
That's probably what it is.
Burger.
Drops at birdfuck.com. Our guest
Yes.
today from Blank Check with Griffin and David and Masters of the Universe Revolution, the King of Cranch.
Hell yeah.
Returning to the show in studio, Griffin Newman is
Wow.
here. Hi, Griffin.
Thank you
Wow.
so much for having me, guys.
Thanks so much for being here. I'll just say, because Mitch was talking about it, we were recording 2 episodes back to back. The episode we're doing after this is the Doughboys double for Pink, for a month of Alexander Payne movies. You're going to be defending the film Downsizing.
Yeah, and probably will be taken to court when the episode is over. Dragged straight into
That episode
Supreme Court.
That episode will be out before this episode, so we're being kind of a sort of doing a temporal pincer maneuver.
Hey.
With these 2 episodes.
That's a movie.
But we're gonna power through it.
Yeah, that's a movie reference.
I just want to say that hamburguesa sounds like fancier. I think it's a good replacement.
La hamburguesa.
Yeah.
Hamburguesa sounds
Yeah.
like it makes
The
hamburger.
H is silent.
Hamburguesa.
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 It still sounds fancy.
Yeah, it does sound fancy.
How about that? A Brazilian listener
How about that?
down there.
Who'd have thunk?
I don't know if they live in Brazil. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
It is cool. We
We
got a
were,
big.
they were making fun of the drop that this guy sent in from Brazil. He's representing us down there in Brazil.
How about that? We have a big international presence, bigger than I'd
You
imagine.
don't give a shit.
I do care. Why do you think I don't care? Why are you going hostile?
Because it just seems like you don't give a shit.
I think it's interesting. How about that?
Okay, me too. I think it is interesting.
Do you know what like your second biggest country is after the United States? Do you ever look at those maps where you can see listenership?
Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, do you know for Blank Check? Because for us, it's just like it's the English speaking world.
Right.
So U.S.,
Yeah.
Canada, and then the UK, and then after that, I think it's Australia.
Yeah.
I think number 2 is in Sylvania.
Yeah, that's a sovereign
It's-
nation now.
It's next to Transylvania.
They had a very limp rebellion.
Canada's our second most popular after
Canada.
the US.
Makes sense.
I think Ireland's weirdly big for us, maybe. I
Yeah.
haven't looked in a while.
Oh.
Still
Film buffs
interesting.
over there in Ireland. Huh?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Good about 7 to 10 good Irish movies.
What?
Give me your 7.
In the Name of the Father,
1,
Leprechaun,
2.
Leprechaun 2,
Okay. 3.
Leprechaun 3.
Can I help you out?
Yeah.
The Irishman.
Leprechaun Back to the Hood. Is that
This is the mistake everyone makes. I believe Leprechaun 4
mhm.
is Leprechaun in the Hood,
Mm.
Yeah.
and then Leprechaun 5 is Leprechaun Back to the Hood. It's
Okay.
a sequel to the first Hood
Oh,
movie,
wow.
But I-
which is why it's Back to
yeah.
the Hood.
Okay. Oh, Back to the
Right.
Hood.
It's the rare, like, my favorite kind of thing, which is a movie sequel basically being like, this is Leprechaun 4 2.
Yeah.
This is the second Leprechaun 4 movie.
What's your favorite Irish movie? Do you have a favorite Irish movie?
That's a good question.
I'm gonna look up a list while you're talking.
Yeah, I'm trying to
just
think of like what the funny answer is, but also what my honest answer
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
It's a tough one.
Like if Irishman counts, I do love The Irishman, but I don't really think, title aside.
I think that yeah. And
mean,
I've
you're
never
Irish.
seen In Bruges in a how do you say it? In Bruges?
Yeah, but it's a movie that stars 2 Irishmen, but I think of it mostly as a Belgian movie.
Sure.
Now,
Yeah.
look, I don't know this movie. This may be a great movie. And Griffin, you probably do know this movie, but the first one that comes up under Best Irish Movies is a movie that sounds like if you were making fun of like in an improv scene, you're like, come up with a title
Oh,
of
I
an
think
Irish
I know what
movie.
it is.
The Wind That Shakes the Barley.
Oh, yeah.
no, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a Palme d'Or winner.
Wow, how about that? I have
Ken
not
Loach,
seen
the
it.
great Irish filmmaker. Yeah.
Calvary, which I have seen, that is a great movie.
It's not Irish. Maybe it's
Benches of
British.
Inisherin.
But that's like an Irish revolution movie.
Ah, got it. Philomena. Leap Year. I remember Leap Year.
Mm.
Waking Ned Divine. I remember
You know
Waking
what?
Ned
I
Divine.
love that movie.
Waking Ned
That's a
Divine
good
is a
movie.
good one.
I think that's a wonderful
Oh,
film.
Michael-
Michael Collins.
Michael Collins.
Yeah.
Right,
Michael
I'm trying
Collins
to
is a
like
good one.
reverse engineer from like because there is a serious tier of Irish movie stars.
Crying Game.
Yeah, Neeson, Murphy, Eddie Murphy, of course.
Yeah.
Colin Farrell. Does Daredevil? Could I count that as my favorite Irish movie?
Yeah, I think
they
so.
do play Houses of Pain. Top
of the Morning
to
to
you.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that's one of the most sort of sensitive, thoughtful portrayals of an Irishman I've ever seen in a movie.
How about this movie just called Grabbers? Do you know Grabbers?
No. Is it
Yeah,
a horror
it's
film?
that's the Ireland Tremors.
It is. Mitch,
Really?
it is. When an island off the coast of Ireland is invaded by blood-sucking aliens, the heroes discover that getting drunk is the only way to survive.
That rules. When's
That's
it
pretty
from?
good.
It is from 2012. The tagline is, "In case of alien attack, break glass, drink me."
Wow.
And it's got like a beer behind
Yeah.
glass, like a like a fire axe.
Grabbers.
Yeah, Grabbers.
I like it.
Grabbers.
Grabber. I want to see Grabbers now. That's also on the list of top Irish movies you're looking at.
I don't know. I mean, there's a long list. What's going on?
What did I do?
Nothing. So you just traveled out here.
Yeah.
I'm curious about your travel eat regimen because that's a big thing of
Yeah.
like I'm getting on a flight. I'm going across the country. I'm going to try to eat a meal beforehand. Mitch
Yeah.
is a famous abstaining from eating anything before he gets on the plane. That's his discipline of choice.
Yeah.
How do you approach the situation?
It's tough. I have like permanent rumblies, I would say,
Sure, yeah.
semi-permanent rumblies. I have a very sensitive stomach. I do find that if I am on any flight longer than 3 hours, let's say, New York to LA certainly qualifies, I do feel like it messes up my digestive system for like 48 hours after the flight.
Yeah.
Regardless of what I eat. I think it's something about, I don't know if it's about the pressure. I don't know if it's because like on a plane, I am more self-conscious about going to the bathroom.
Just feeling dry, I feel like is part
I feel
of
like
it.
feeling
Dehydrated?
dry.
Yeah.
And then it's usually like, I often try to do early morning flights. And I think usually on days where I'm not flying, there was a complicated regimen for the first 2 hours of my day to try to like set my body in balance.
Yeah, for sure.
That involves like 4 different types of beverages and routines.
Wait, what are the beverages?
Water. You got to get a water.
Water.
Okay. I'm trying to guess them.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Coffee.
Yep.
Green tea.
You know what? Athletic Greens.
Athletic Greens. Oh,
Wow.
sponsor.
They
All
started
right.
like sending me the product, and it's
Yeah.
one of the sponsors on Blank Check that I was like,
Yeah.
this actually worked for me. And I feel like they stopped sponsoring now competitor sponsors. And I wouldn't admit this
Wow.
on Blank Check, but here I feel safe. I just re-up with Athletic Greens. That's like working for me.
Wow.
So there's like straight water with Athletic Greens in
Yeah.
it, coffee. And then the fourth answer is kind of a trick answer, I would say.
Slurpee.
Decaf coffee.
Oh, decaf coffee.
Okay.
I
You do
do.
1 cup of full strength, 1 cup of
Right.
decaf.
And then I'm like, I need to trick my body into thinking more coffee is running through my
Yeah.
system without peaking on caffeine.
That's what you got right now.
That's-
Decaf
yeah,
coffee.
That's
wow.
my second cup always. And then like I do like a little like immunity boost shot.
Okay.
You know those things you see in the supermarket?
Sure.
Some
Oh, yeah.
version of that, which is
Mhm.
kind of like a 1/4 portion of a beverage, if you will.
Yes.
Yunkar.
Yeah.
So I'd say there are
classic.
Give me an
4 and
Yunkar.
1/4
Line, yeah.
beverages. Yeah.
Those movies were so successful, so big, stuck in everyone's heads that you can just say, "Give me the Unkar." They'll
Yeah,
know.
it's just a unit of measurement.
I don't want to
Mhm.
look. I don't want to start a fight here,
Oh,
and I do want to say the Blank Dough text thread, right?
yes.
Which, by the way, I saw Tammy Sager recently.
Yeah.
Friend of the podcast.
Mhm.
Great Doughboys guest.
And one of the greatest. And we were on the same show in Brooklyn. The first thing she said to me was, "What's the most recent text in Blank Dough?" I now get people asking me that because the amount of times that both of
Wow.
our shows will name check things said in the thread,
Yeah, sure.
that people are like, "I know you're never going to post on Maine, but can I see the most recent text?"
Wow.
Uh-oh.
And I believe it was 3 wows in a row.
That's very funny.
It was like Sim saying that he liked whatever chain you had just covered on the most recent episode, followed by 3 wows. But you will. I've said this maybe before on this show, but like being on a text chain with you guys
Mhm.
is a little bit like playing a text-based RPG version of Doughboys, where you can kind of trigger you guys to do the bits.
Yeah, sure.
You know, the bits are real.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
happen naturally and organically.
I've talked about Last Jedi on Blank Dough.
You will, I would say, at least once every other month, if not more often, fairly late at night, throw out as if it's a new thought. You know, I think Last Jedi might be my least favorite movie of all time. You throw it out like it's a new realization that has hit you.
Yeah.
And then Sims, Wags, and I all say, I love it. And you call bullshit on all 3 of us.
Bullshit. I do call
But
bullshit on
every
him a
time
lot.
it's like it's the first time this conversation's been
Yes,
had. Like you're
right.
like, I actually think I don't like that movie. In fact, I think I hate it. Then we say we still love it,
Yeah.
and then you want to litigate it.
Look, I'll say where I think a lot of it comes from is
Yeah.
that I'm on a text thread with Weiger with another Last Jedi hater.
Mm.
You know who it is.
Mike Carlson.
Carlson.
So we have a
Carlson,
separate
yes,
thread. We have our
Westerns. So it will,
a
like,
wrestling boys
awaken-
thread that's now
Sure.
become Backstage Boys.
Yeah.
And that is you, me, Commissioner Evan Sester. I don't know if he's on all these. I don't know how he's not on Blank Dough, but just like he just sort of snuck in there. I feel like I'm on so
It's
many
good.
threads
It's the one
where
place where we
Susser's just the extra guy.
We can talk about lunch without having him try to get in on the order.
Like Blank Dough is a no susser zone.
So
Look,
it's one
can
of
I-
the few ones. I guess we should get, but it's you, me, Mike Carlson, and Susser, and it's a lot of Last Jedi hate, and I just
Sure.
abstain from discussion there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a thing I want to litigate. The point I
Yeah.
wanted to make here was specifically, I feel like, and this is a years-long thing,
Yeah.
but you citing Unkar Plot as like an example of, look how shitty these new modern characters are.
hmm
They don't have any staying power.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the mere fact that Unkar Plot keeps getting talked about, I think
Well-
proves that because I will say something.
That is our doing. Also, by the way, shit. I wish we have.
Where's the plot?
Don't we have them?
I
What?
think you might be.
Do you want me to get him?
Do we have a plot?
Is there a plot?
There is a
Is
plot.
there a plot on premises?
There is a plot
Um,
on premises. Instead, we have our
JJ.
little buddy JJ
He did it.
standing up here today.
He did it.
He did
No,
do it.
I think he definitely did it. Ooh, mint on card plot.
Wow, how about that? Mint in
Wow.
box.
Inboxed, Unkar plot, packaging a little dented.
Yeah.
I think that you're wrong. I think that this character is remembered because we're forced ourselves to remember it.
Okay, here's my take.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously what has complicated this is you specifically have done so much work of making Plut stick more in the cultural mindset.
Sure.
Mm.
Right? Like you might be it might be a problem of your own making. The more you argue that Unkar Plutt isn't memorable, the more memorable he becomes.
Mhm.
But I would also say, compared to like Salacious Crumb, who
Yeah.
I think we're all on the same page with, right? That guy undeniably
a legend.
He pops.
a winner.
Yeah.
He's got the juice, right? Unkar Plutt is, I think, one of the few characters in the Disney Star Wars era movies
Mhm.
that I like on balance a lot more than you, who I do think has like a little bit of hookiness.
This is
Yeah.
so
Because
insane.
I think it's an area in which the modern movies fuck up is like the background aliens aren't really popping.
No, for
They
sure.
don't have the little like 2-scene, one-line guys who just kind of stick in your craw
yeah.
in the way that we've all been like spinning on fucking Hammerhead for decades.
This is a criticism
And
I've
Plutt's
heard.
got something.
Plutt's got the juice. This is a criticism I've heard our buddy Ryan Perez voice, and I think he's maybe said this on his podcast, Mama Needs a Movie, which is that he's always liked the Star Wars from a creature standpoint.
Yeah.
These are creature movies. There's lots of cool creatures.
Yeah.
And the
Mhm.
modern trilogy does not have as many creatures.
And I just think they don't cover them well. Like you see
Yeah.
behind the scenes photos where you're like, they designed great things, but he's like not giving them moments.
Right,
JJ
right,
isn't
right.
in the first one, and then I feel like Last Jedi's got like a lot of story stuff on its plate. There are little guys who pop for me like in a moment, but I was
Mhm.
like, that trilogy could use 20 more Plutts.
Are you sure? Like, whose Plutt is that, by the way?
This was given to us.
So is that yours?
It is mine officially, I believe.
Because I kind of think, that's mine!
This is the thing, you can quote Plutt. Plutt has quotes that can be recognized.
He
You can
does.
do an impression and people know the voice.
Yeah, for sure.
Hold
Got
on a
specific
second.
things.
Hold on a second.
Does he
Are you
want
sure
a
you're not just
full
thinking
amount of a
because-
thing? No, he wants 1/4 portion of a thing. It's got a fucking handle
And if
on
they
it.
Yeah,
take
but
his stuff, he's like, that's mine.
Yes.
Those are
Yeah, but
that's
also-
a character
You want- you
game.
want a
Is that
character
because we just talk about those quotes all the
But this
time?
is my point. Either Plutt inherently has the juice, or you've made him have the juice. But I also think you can riff on Plutt in a way you can't on other characters because he has
true.
shit. You're not making fun of Therm Scissor Punch being shitty.
Right.
He looks good. He's got a great name, but he doesn't fucking register on screen. Whereas Plutt, you can mock because there's something tangible there.
Yeah.
Look at this fucking JJ.
Yeah, I mean, that sucks.
Look at
Not a
this
great
thing.
figurine.
No.
Why does he have his arms crossed? Why is the JJ toy like, why is he angry?
Can I give you my like nerd toy boy opinion?
Yes, and wet hair too.
Is that by the way? Do pop figurines? Do they have a default position?
They don't have a default
Okay, got
position, but I do think, especially with more civilian type characters and more limited run type ones, they will sometimes reuse bodies.
Oh wow!
You know, so like they're all digitally
Wow.
sculpted. There's not a default position, and I do think they often use body language to try to sell a character because there's no fucking facial likeness. It's like
Right.
that helps if they're in the memorable pose. But especially when they do their director ones, I remember seeing the Paul Feig one and being like, I think that's like a Kingsman repaint.
yeah,
Like they went like, who's got a nice suit, you know? And the director line, it's like the Russo brothers. You're like, they didn't sculpt new brothers,
no,
new bodies for the brothers.
yeah, yeah,
They're just guys in shirts.
right.
Who
right.
the fuck owns the Russo
Exactly.
brother and JJ Abrams
Right, so
pop
they're like,
figurines?
they're not going to waste the money
Yes.
building a new sculpt. They're just like, is there anyone in the supporting cast of Billions with their arms crossed
Yes.
who we could just put JJ's head on? And I'm like, that also might not be an original head. They might have found another, you
It
know?
could be like a gad head.
It could be a Gad head.
This could be a Gad head.
Yeah.
It could be a Louis Tully.
Could absolutely be a
You
Louis
know?
Tully. Yeah,
Is there another name for these type toys?
pop
Funko Pops?
figurines, Funko
Oh,
Pop.
Funko Pops,
Yeah.
Funkos. Okay, here we go.
I think that's a good figure. I'm looking at Plutt, and I'm like, a kid could act out many scenarios with a Plutt.
It's well made. It's a nice.
Well,
toy.
also it has his very memorable hook gun.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
That's
of course,
included
his
with
hook
it.
gun.
His
Yeah.
hook gun.
Right.
Oh yeah, you remember that?
Yeah, of course.
Here's a fun tidbit
Supposed to
about
stuff
that,
with that gun.
toy. There's a deleted scene, I don't know if you guys have seen, where Plutt shows up back at Maz Kanata's cantina, demanding his ship back, and Chewbacca rips his arm off.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
Which is like JJ calling back the like notion that a Wookiee could rip your arm off.
Yeah.
Right. And so the toy has a removable arm.
Interesting.
That is fun.
Yeah. For a scene that no longer is in the movie.
It's good they cut
because
that
they show him
scene.
again later, right? Or
They don't.
They,
No,
they show
they
him in a
don't. No, that's it.
flashback.
You see, yes, I guess when
Because there's this weird thing of
when Rey
Rey was
touches-
given to him or something
right,
like
you
that.
see him
Right.
holding her back as her parents fly away.
Yeah, that's it. Yes, yeah.
I think Plutt's good.
Never got closure on the Knights of Ren. What's going on with them?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
Was really tied up.
It's weird. It's almost like if you dig on any of these Star Wars sequels, you can find a big shithole to fall into. The junk boss of Jakku, Unkar, runs a profitable business stealing, scavenging, and selling scrap on the desert world. Sorry, it's very small print.
Yeah.
Sure.
If defied, he calls upon his gang of desert thugs to take what he wants.
So cool.
This
He
is
just
cool.
sounds cool.
Yeah.
He's fun. He's got a game.
Right.
Yeah.
It's got some lore.
Plut's good.
That's good.
Plut's good.
Don't troll me like this.
No one's trolling you. So we did. Here's what you were.
Plut's good.
Plut's good.
And then you say you're not trolling me. Plut's good.
I like
We're not
Plut.
trolling you.
The
Plut's
world is
good.
richer for having Plut in
I
it.
agree.
What if it was anything else?
Make
What if it
fun
was a
of
good
Balatique.
creature?
No one likes Balatique. I agree with you that Balatique sucks.
Yeah, we had a Constable Zuvio run we were doing before the movie, and then there was like Constable Zuvio had no legs.
He just isn't in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Straight
We
up
also,
not in it.
we questioned if Snoke was big or
Yes.
not.
That was the thing, and then the resolution of Snoke being not really big, but
little
not really
big.
small. He's
He's
like
like
a kind of big.
He's Manute Bowl size.
Yeah, exactly. He's like a
He's not a giant.
like Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, he's a Wembanyama.
He's a Wembley. Yeah.
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 You think if Snoke was, it's sad if he was born in a different galaxy, he maybe be playing in the NBA instead
Could
of
have been
being
hooping.
Yeah.
Yeah. See,
like
this
that-
is the kind of like with a rich character starting point like Snoke, you can sort of just spin off in this expanded universe. Like you're doing it. You're like the possibilities in storytelling with Snoke are infinite.
Is that he plays in the NBA?
Well, you're saying what a sad reality that he didn't get drafted. Maybe if that had happened, he wouldn't have turned out to be an evil despot.
We don't know anything about him. Look,
I know a lot about him. He's kind of big.
I looked this up because it reminded me of this tweet. This is from Terry Rozier, Scary Terry.
Oh, yeah.
Celtics great. Osama should have hooped instead of trying to kill people because he's tall as hell. It's true.
That is true.
It's a good point.
It's a really good point.
I love that guy.
Yeah. Great.
Can
We're
we
playing
say
the Heat
also-
right now. I mean, we're not. I mean, this is dated. Sorry.
This will be very much in the past. The Celtics will, in all likelihood, the better.
Don't you dare
favorite,
Hillary
and
Clinton
they will
this
have won
shit.
the NBA title by now.
Don't
because
Hillary
episode's out.
Clinton my fucking Celtics.
I'm not Hillarying anything.
Yeah, you are trying to.
I'm not trying to Hillary anything.
You are trying to.
They probably won their 19th championship at this point. But Terry
19th.
Rozier is now on the it's 19, right? They're at 18? I think it's 19.
18.
This will be 18?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Whatever it is. They are
Do I have it wrong?
they will be the leader
I think you might have
in
it wrong, Mitch.
they will be
I
the
have it
leader in
wrong?
championships.
I think they already have 18.
I think they already have 18.
Oh,
I think
man.
Lakers and Celtics are tied at 18.
Wow.
If you count the Minneapolis championships, which Mitch doesn't. Mitch and Bill Simmons both don't count the Minneapolis championships. Same franchise. Anyway,
This
Babbel
will
champion.
be 18.
this
Oh,
will be
wow.
18.
Wow.
Okay. So they're both tied at 17.
Don't come at the king, man.
Well played.
Terry Rozier now on the Miami Heat.
That's right.
Was on the Celtics at a certain point. Now on your
Which
rival
hopefully
Heat.
the Celtics have beat them in the first round.
Yeah, they're gonna be. I could fucking walk over them.
He's trying to jinx.
I'm not trying to jinx anything.
Sick fuck.
I'm not trying to jinx anything, Mitch. I'm saying what's in my heart. I think the
You're
likeliest-
Robert Durst over. You're a little Robert Durst.
I'm not Dursting this.
You are Dursting.
I'm not
it.
Dursting anything.
You're Dursting a little.
You were Dursting it a little.
You're
bit.
Dursting a little bit. You got to admit.
No. I mean, if I was Dursting it, I'd be talking about the chocolate starfish and the hot dog flavored water. That's the kind of Durst I am.
You did walk into the Headgum studio today with 18 small garbage bags and said, "Can I keep them here for a little bit?"
Okay, so you were talking about this was your morning routine, but when you're traveling,
Yeah.
what changes?
What changes is I'm usually in a panic when I'm getting ready to fly.
Yeah.
And so my morning routine is rushed and there's not the same sort of, and if I'm booking an early flight, I'm waking up too early where I'm not going to allot myself the proper, what my father used to call Papa executive privilege time. My father would wake my brother and I up and then would go into the bathroom with like 3 cups of coffee and 5 newspapers.
Wow.
And be like, "I'll see you boys in an hour.
Wow.
You better be dressed and ready to go to school."
Wow.
Just set up shop in there.
He would just set up shop and it was like an hour. Where if like we knocked on the door because there was like some argument that had to be settled,
Yeah.
there was usually like an argument every morning of like at what point in the morning do we have to switch from Sports Center to Nickelodeon or
Mhm.
vice versa. My brother and I like fighting over who gets the TV.
Yeah.
Because you got to have Sports Center on there. Knowing
Yeah.
you.
You know me.
Yeah.
Yeah, my brother into this fucking baby shit wants to watch Rugrats, and I was like, grow up, catch a ball for once. My brother is an accomplished athlete, sports businessman. But yeah, if we knocked on the door, he would be unhappy, and also it felt like it was like Chernobyl in there.
Sure.
Yeah. The paint was peeling off the walls. And I do feel like as I've gotten older, it's like I have my Griffin executive privilege time where there's like there's got to be an absolute space before anything is on my radar. I play the Cinematrix, I play whatever.
Yeah,
like
sure.
Morning, New York Times Connections or whatever. And I think when I'm traveling, that gets removed from my cycle. And I'm also just like panicked of like, do I have an aisle seat? If I'm inside, do I have to crawl over someone to go to the bathroom? Right. What am I eating before? Like before this flight, I did like at the airport, cup of coffee, toasted bagel with butter.
Fun.
Just like super simple.
What kind of bagel?
That's good.
Everything.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
You do butter a lot, you say.
I do. I love like it's probably my favorite food item is like an everything bagel toasted with lox, scallion cream cheese, tomato, raw onion, capers.
But you maybe don't want to load up on that before you get on a cross-country flight.
Correct.
So yeah, keep it
And
simple.
sometimes I'm just like, let me go easy on myself, just do a classic toasted bagel with butter. That's usually a good, like, set my morning balance. Mm-hmm. Another brand that has sponsored you guys that has never sponsored Blank Check, but Magic Spoon I've been buying recently.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Magic Spoon in the morning.
There you go.
Sets me right as well, because it's good. High fiber.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. It's very low carbs.
Yeah.
I forget our copy, but it's
well, you don't need to have it at the top of your head. It's fine.
Delicious.
Yeah, it is good.
Check out its new flavor. I forget. There's a new flavor. They haven't advertised with us for a while.
Yeah, I don't
like.
think you have to shut that out.
Yeah, I think you're fine.
I think Magic Spoon is. I don't know if they listen anymore.
Use promo code Griffin when buying new Magic Spoon.
Peter Griffin's eyes just lit up. You just got the Family Guy some money. I'm a huge bagel guy, but I said, I don't eat anything on a flight.
Yeah.
Yeah. I try to keep it really simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
gotta fly. I gotta go back east in a week or two. And
wow.
I don't want to freak out. You just got me worked up about freaking out before you fly. I don't want to. Just packing.
You'll be fine. You know what to do.
I know, it's just such a fucking pain in the ass.
Well, give yourself plenty of leeway. Give yourself a head start. Be like, I'd normally pack this this far in advance. I'm gonna give myself like an extra day or whatever.
I always
Let's be real.
Yeah, this is the thing. I think we're the same, Mitch.
I'm 41 years old. It's just not gonna. It's not. Things aren't gonna change.
Do laundry right before you leave, and you take it out of the dryer and right into the suitcase.
That's what I do.
Smart.
That's what I do.
I do that. I do that a lot. I do laundry.
Like I never even try to get as ambitious as what you just suggested or optimistic. But I am like, you know what? This upcoming trip is going to be the one where I pack the night before. I'm going to do it right one time. And without fail, I always pack 45 minutes before I need to leave my apartment in a panic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I need like the pressure.
I kind of already have a go bag. I'm like pretty much like throwing like a few pair of underwear in there or whatever. Oh, you're ready to go.
What else is in that?
Don't worry about it.
It's just a few pairs of underwear.
No, I've got like a few. I've got like a a bag that's kind of that I usually travel with.
Lube.
A lot of Jergens.
I've got a bag I usually travel with, and I keep like travel toiletries and the like. I stuff that's just like kind of set up in there.
That I've started doing. Yeah. Where I have a travel toiletries bag with travel sized versions of the items I like.
Yeah.
And just like have that kind of perpetually ready to go. So that's an easy pack, and I don't get there and go like, oh fuck, I forgot toothpaste.
Travel toothbrush, like a cheap hairbrush I got at CVS because I don't have to worry about bringing my hairbrush from home.
Just like anything I like from a drugstore, I'm going to buy 2 or 3 of. So I have the one I keep at home, I have a backup, and I have one that's in the toiletries bag for any time I travel.
Last time I was at CVS.
Travel fleshlight.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing
a little mini fleshlight.
I was going to say, Mitch, last time I was at CVS, I saw they had butt plugs. Did you know they sell butt plugs at CVS? Not even travel butt plugs, just like a regular butt plug.
Yeah.
What has happened in our society, Wags? Butt plugs at CVS?
CVS has butt plugs.
What's happening?
I'm just surprised that sex toy usage.
What were you looking for that you found the butt plugs?
I was just wandering about.
He was looking for cock rings.
The same thing.
They do have cock rings too.
They have cock
just
rings.
like walking by, like going to like get
Yeah.
a drink, and like there's vibrators on display.
Yeah,
I've noticed that.
Sex toy
That's a
use.
they put them in family planning now.
Sex toy use has
Yeah.
become so normalized, which I think is a good thing, which
Yeah.
should be sex positive, I suppose. But I'm just like surprised. I'm
It's
like,
jarring when
Yeah.
you first see it.
I'm
like,
I'm
to get a
sex
Snapple.
negative personally.
yeah.
You tested negative for
I
having
tested
sex.
I took a test.
The thing I've noticed, which kind of blows my mind, is like in the sort of travel sample size section where it's like all those little plastic bins. At least at some of the CVSs in New York, they now have like travel size vibrator.
Wow.
Like, do you want like a cheap $10 vibrator?
Yeah, sure.
That's like mini,
Right.
and it's like
It's
well,
like
this
maybe
isn't-
like how a toothbrush will be small in a travel bag.
yeah, and it's also like just if you don't want to take your good one with you,
Yeah, sure.
like a junk one that you don't mind if you leave it in the hotel.
Yeah. TSA throws it in the garbage. It's fine.
Yeah, right.
That's
Exactly.
fascinating.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is insane. I have never seen this at CVS.
Look for it next time.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna go look for it. I'm not gonna.
You should look for it. Do you feel threatened?
My question is why? I guess this is, but it kind of is depressing because it feels like late stage capitalism. CVS now it covers every single item that you could need. It's a sex toy shop. It's, you know what I mean? I know what I'm saying? It's like,
Sure.
shouldn't that be in a sex toy shop? We're taking away from the noble sex toy shop guys.
No, I'm with you. That's like a very often a small business, you
Yeah.
know, the local adult shop.
Mon pa pervert.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think those were already being, their market share was already being eaten by Amazon, which was
Yeah.
selling the stuff online. And I think people just like the discretion of getting it mailed to you.
And
you know?
people, if you want the good shit,
Yeah.
you got to go to a mom and pop.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
We're just simple folk here, running the porno shop for generations.
Whittling dildos in multiple sizes.
We got old time cock rings. This one's vintage.
Abraham Lincoln wore one of these.
He had a top hat shaped dick, flat at the top.
It was a reverse top hat.
The reverse top hat.
The tip of his penis was the brim.
John Wilkes Booth shot off the tip of it, actually. It's a first failed attempt. Okay, so where were we? Okay, this is the thing I had to ask about.
Yeah.
You have a major update on a
yes.
thread from last episode.
Yeah.
You told me this was urgent business we need to get to before we get to Sbarro.
This isn't even from last episode. This is from four full years ago. I
4
cannot
full years ago. Wow.
remember if this was touched upon the last time I would have been on for the Italy episode, but it's certainly something, a thread that was started in 2020.
Wow.
Wow.
Deep pandemic, early pandemic, I should say, actually, when you had David Sims, my Blank Check co-host, and I on to talk about Tombstone the Pizza.
Yeah, Tombstone Week.
Yes.
We did Tombstone the movie and Tombstone the Pizza, consecutive double and main feed episodes.
That's
Yes.
right.
A lot of fun.
And I talked about scouring New York City at a time where I was like, this is a good excuse to get out of the house and go to
Sure.
grocery stores, a
Right.
semi-safe activity, wearing gloves and masks and in a plastic bubble and whatever.
I believe we did do grocery store month during pandemic.
We did.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you remember the full name?
Green Grocer Mitch's Grocery Store.
Friendly Green Grocer Spoon Man's Grocery Store Month.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I think that episode was like April, maybe. And in it, I talked about going all across New York City to like 10 plus different grocery stores within walking distance, trying to find as many different flavors of Tombstone as I could,
Right.
outside of the obvious ones. Because I went on their website and I was like, they got 20 other flavors I've never seen in the wild.
You see cheese and pepperoni in store generally. Maybe you get a
Maybe a
combo.
Supreme, maybe a
exactly.
combo.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And what really fascinated me was the garlic bread crust, which sounded
That's right.
so enticing.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find it anywhere. And talked about it on the show. And then Tombstone slid into my DMs. This is May 9th, 2020. Wow. Hi, we can hook it up when things get a little back to normal. Sunglasses emoji, prayer hands emoji. We might not be able to get the garlic bread. That depends on which stores closest to you have them. But we can definitely send you some other goodies.
Wow.
Now, I sent that message to you guys at the time.
Yeah.
You called it out on the show.
Yes.
And you were like, why isn't Tombstone sliding into our DMs? I responded, that'd be great. Thank you so much. I'm obviously a big fan, of course. Thanks for spreading the love. That's May 11th, 2020. Then September 4th, 2022, over 2 years later, I messaged, any updates on the garlic bread pizzas? Still haven't been able to find them in the wild. No response.
Yeah.
Forgot about it. people go through archives of podcasts. Someone tags me on the Blank Check Reddit. r/blank is a very normal place for even killed online discussion. Saying, hey, I was listening to old Doughboys. I caught the narrative of the Tombstone search for the garlic bread pizza, them sliding into his DMs. Did we ever get resolution on that? Did Griff ever get to try? Did they ever send him goodies? And I went, no, you're fucking right. Never happened. So I messaged him again this Thursday, bumping this again. And I messaged you guys, and I'm like, is there an oven at Headgum?
Yes.
Because I might be pulling off the coup of a century, and I want to be able to fucking bake some garlic bread pizzas and bring them in here. They respond to me, our where-to-buy tool may be able to help you with finding a store that has them stocked near you. I click on that. Not in stock anywhere in the states of New York or California.
Man.
The entire states. Right?
These are big states.
Yeah. I was like, can I buy one in New York, bring it over? Can I find one once I land in LA?
Yes.
It was like Jersey has a couple of them on the outskirts, maybe. Wow. But also the kind of thing where you might get to the store and they're like, we don't have fucking garlic bread pizza.
Exactly.
So I respond to them, hi, it actually does not help. Item does not seem to be for sale anywhere in New York or California. Trying to acquire in order to review on a podcast. And at just 10 a.m. today, almost a week later, they respond to me. Not a week later, I'm realizing 3 days later. Well, we would love for every retailer to carry all of our products, most based on customer demand and purchasing trends. If you aren't seeing it on shelves, we encourage you to speak with the store manager and submit a product request form at the customer service desk so they can order it. The UPC code is 71921-14208. Now, I am suggesting that we put that UPC code in the notes for this episode, flash it on screen for the video episode.
Wow.
And metastasize the Doughboys army.
Yeah.
To start fucking like ballot stuffing.
No, I'm all in for
grocery
this.
The only way we're ever trying this is if there starts being a major public outcry.
Yeah.
For this product on store shelves.
No, we saw what the Doughboys army could do at the Capitol. So let's put that energy to good use.
I think we could do it.
Yeah.
And I want these stores to be like, holy shit, people are desperate for this garlic bread pizza.
Right.
Let's get nationwide distribution.
It looked fucking good. We were all intrigued by it. And we're just like, there's no way to get it.
Yeah.
Now, at a certain point in time, I think in 2020, it seemed like there were 5 different garlic bread crust pizzas.
Right.
They had a garlic bread variation for all of their main flavors. Now it's just down to garlic bread pepperoni. We just want to get that one type of pizza out there. So once again, UPC code 71921-14208.
Here it is right here.
There it is right there at the bottom of your screen.
This is actionable now.
Take that UPC code, take it from the show notes, take it from the YouTube description, copy paste it, and put it on blast on social media and tag at Tombstone or whatever they're do we know what it is?
Not the movie. Don't tag the movie.
Don't tag the movie Tombstone.
The account is, but also like tag grocery stores.
Tag grocery stores.
Email grocery stores. Go in with the numbers tattooed on your chest. Find a manager and yell at him at Tombstone Pizza.
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 Don't not at Tombstone because that's the movie.
That's the movie.
And then you'll have Kilmer yelling at you.
I think you should tag
I'm
Kurt.
not your Huckleberry. All right, sorry.
I think you should tag Kurt.
Tag Kurt.
Tag Kurt.
Kurt would be.
I think it'll help.
A valuable ally.
Yeah, tag Kurt.
Tag Kurt.
Tag Kurt.
Tag Kurt.
Who else would we want to tag from the movie? You got Kurt, Val Kilmer, Michael Bean.
Yeah, we lost Paxton.
Paxton's gone.
Sam Elliott. Can we tag Sam
Sure,
Elliott?
tag Sam Elliott if he's on social media.
Elliott.
Powers Booth also gone, correct?
We've lost Powers Booth.
Poor Powers Booth.
We don't have the powers anymore.
Yeah. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Rest in power.
Rest in powers.
Rest in power.
You
Austin
guys
Power.
would tag Austin Powers.
Yeah, baby.
Tag Austin Powers. Tell your
$1 million.
local grocery store
Yeah.
that them stocking garlic bread pizza would make you feel very shagadelic.
Tell them that you want that garlic bread pizza to get in your belly.
Is that 2? Where's
That's
Fat
2.
Fat
Bastard comes to 2. This is the thing, but the Austin Powers franchise, and I listening through on your Blank Check Patreon series doing the Austin Powers movies.
Yeah.
You think Uncar Blood is that original after thinking about Fat Bastard?
Fat Bastards definitely makes more of a meal of his girth. Like, that's like his joke. Whereas Unkar Plutt, I feel like, is just like a guy who's also big.
Unkar Plutt also has portion control. Like, he's big, but it's not because he's eating babies.
Fat Bastard is not going to stop at 1/4 portion until he goes on the Subway diet, maybe.
But they have like in the Austin Powers movies, it's like it's just Austin and Dr. Evil in part 1.
Yeah.
Like all the other characters come about in part 2. It's like that's where we're getting, Mini-Me, and you think like it's probably the third character you think of the Austin Powers franchise, but it's not till Austin Powers 2.
Maybe you're sort of basic Austin Powers fan. I jumped to Frau Farbissina.
I do love Frau Farbissina.
Yeah.
Scott Evil, you forgot about Scott Evil?
Yeah.
Number
I'm just saying, like, kind of like in terms of mainstream awareness.
Sure.
I think people think of Mini-Me.
Oh, you're talking mainstream Powers
Yeah.
stuff? Yeah. Okay, that makes
I mean,
now
Mimi
it makes sense.
Mimi had the juice.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Get another Austin Powers out here. You know what I mean?
I'm waiting for Austin 4. They could do it.
I think it's time.
I texted you guys this, but he has, for many years now, threatened to do a Broadway musical that's a prequel, Origin of Austin, that Mike Myers would write, and Burt Bacharach wrote a bunch of songs for it before he died.
That's right.
It's like Burt Bacharach's last work.
Wow.
And when he died, they put out some multi-disc box set of like his whole career, and a bunch of the Powers tracks are on there, and they're fucking good.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
Yeah. And they like attached a director. They announced in like 2020, like this is going to Broadway, and it has not happened.
Dance numbers would be so fun, and they figure out how to do like the the hiding nudity bit on stage. I'm sure that'd be so good.
That'd be pretty good.
Be incredible. Yeah.
But you slip up and the show's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
I guess you could say like there might be nudity.
Yeah.
There's a chance we mess up, and there might be nudity.
And there might be nudity.
And I think that's kind of a blanket announcement they make before any Broadway show.
Right.
So,
Really?
like, yeah.
Yeah.
You go see Guys and Dolls, you might see a hog by mistake.
They always say that before The Lion King. They're like, look, we're hoping none of these cast members expose themselves to the audience, but you don't know.
I'll say this, Griff. This is a testament to Blank Check.
Yeah.
My podcast co-host won't travel
That's
with
me.
This guy right here.
won't travel with me, won't go on tour.
Yeah.
But he is willing to fly to New York.
I've been on tour with you countless times.
I'm saying
We've done
this.
so many dates over the years. I'm taking a little bit of a break.
And I agree. I think the break is good.
Yeah.
It's good.
But
Doesn't want to tour this year, but would fly to New York City to do an episode of Blank Check.
I have offered for that. If this is
true.
If the issue is if you're there, and if I could be there, then we could all finally do an episode in person. I am willing to do that. Yeah, we could figure
we tried to make it happen last year.
We did.
And it was tied to what you thought was going to be an East Coast trip, and then it got kind of screwed up by writer strike, Twisted Metal, release schedule stuff.
Yes.
But I appreciate that deeply.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened yet, and Sims isn't going to come out here. Let's be realistic.
Sims doesn't get on planes.
Yeah.
Sims just doesn't get hardline, doesn't get on planes?
Yeah.
Damn.
He said the last time he got on a plane was early 2020, and he thinks he may never get on one ever again.
Wow.
Yeah.
I get it.
Early 2020.
Mitch, it could be worse.
It could be worse.
It could be worse. We've never done a tour.
It's
never
true.
done a tour, never on a plane.
Sims has the thing I understand of like first off, I get claustrophobic. So like that's an issue. I also like have a fear of heights, which I think he also has. And he's a big dude. That's the other thing. Mitch, you understand as a big dude flying. Like that is
it's uncomfortable. It feels like you maybe will you'll be the extra weight that takes the plane down.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like you're like maybe I'm just like a tad too big and I'm what I mean? Or like
and legroom too, headroom, hitting your head in the fucking bathroom. That
as
sucks.
a big guy leaning against the window, you're like, am I gonna just break the window and get sucked out? There's stuff like that. There's big guy thoughts that you have. I mean, they may be crazy, but you're like, am I gonna fall through the floor of the plane and out the
Right.
There's stuff like that you think can happen.
I think I've told you this, Mitch, but Stuart Wellington of the Flophouse, great podcast, dear friend of mine, has for a couple years now continually soft pitched the idea of he and I starting a show called Travel Buddies. Because the other two Flophouse guys don't love traveling.
Yeah.
And he loves doing live shows, and I love doing live shows, and also love traveling.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're like, it's just a podcast basically about the fact that we have podcast co-hosts who don't want to do this. And we just pick a city and then do a live show about traveling to that city.
You got a third host.
This is the thing sometimes. And then we're just like, could we build like a traveling Wilburys of like, who's the one guy in each podcast team?
There's always
that still
one.
wants to be doing it. Yeah.
You got your it's either big fat party animal or a writerly nerd.
Sure.
And
I definitely am a big fat party animal. Those are clean types that map on.
It's a testament to you guys that he's willing to go to New York. Well, when is this episode coming out?
We don't know. Sometime. Probably June. We don't know. We don't have an exact date yet.
I might be near New York.
Yeah.
For a stretch.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
We do have a New York Headgum studio.
That's the other thing.
True.
We have a New York Headgum studio, so we could it could have a double utility.
New York Headgum Studios?
Did you not know about this?
No, I
We're
did know.
bi-coastal.
You're saying this with like disgust. New York Headgum Studios?
It reminds me, who's Bart's the villainous Bart that looks like Bart?
Oh,
From Shelbyville?
It's Eliza is the
Oh,
Lisa.
Eliza, yeah,
Who's
yeah.
the other? Is it? It's not Mort, is it? Who the
Oh,
fuck
it might
is
be
it?
Mort. That's funny.
That's what you imagine New York
No,
Headgum
now I gotta
is
look
like?
this up.
New York Headgum.
Evil versions of all the hunks?
What the hell
I
is
mean,
that?
there's certainly going to be hunks.
Yeah.
The New York.
There's the
there-
Shelbyville Bart, but that's not who you're thinking of. You're thinking of the evil Bart, and you're not thinking
Yes.
of Hugo, his evil twin.
No.
You were thinking
Well,
of
or the good twin.
right. Hugo is the good
Spoiler.
twin. That's
Hugo,
that's
yeah,
the
yeah,
twist at the
yeah.
end of that
Yeah.
that Treehouse of Horror. You're thinking of from the episode where two other characters come and solve the problem.
Oh, right.
Before
Yeah.
Bart and Lisa are able to get to it. Is that the Itchy and Scratchy?
Yes.
What is that one? Is that the one with the where? Fuck.
It's the
They like lose the rights to Itchy and Scratchy
it's
because
the
they
day the
revert
laughter
to,
died. Is that what it's called?
It might be Day the Laughter Died.
Yeah.
That's what happens. It's not the Krusty one, right? No, it's not Krusty.
No.
Or is it Krusty? No. But Wags, it doesn't matter what it is.
I think it actually matters.
Not to pull a rock on you, but it doesn't matter what it is.
Mhm.
Something's going on with him today.
I told you I'm sleepy.
You did just react like you were short circuiting.
No, I was realizing I was like, I think the guest star is the father of the actor who plays Ben Franklin in the new Ben Franklin miniseries. And I realized I couldn't remember the name of that actor who is extremely famous.
Kirk Douglas
Kirk Douglas.
plays the.
I couldn't remember, but I couldn't even remember
yeah.
Michael Douglas.
I was gonna say when you said the actor who plays Ben Franklin, that Franklin series, I
Yeah.
was like, he doesn't mean Michael Douglas.
No,
he
I
would
meant-
know that.
I meant Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
Who, famously loves eating pussy. I should be thinking of this guy all the time.
That's my other version of Bart. Is Michael Douglas,
You also
the anti-Mitch.
you use him as an excuse every time you go back to one
Baby, you want me to be like Michael Douglas, get throat cancer? I don't think so.
I would. I used to love it. And then I saw what happened to my boy Mikey.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, I used to love it. Oh,
I used to love
I
it.
was so good at
They
it.
couldn't stop me.
I just tried to look up Kirk Douglas and I typed Kirk Cameron, so the things are not
Okay.
going to go. Kirk Douglas
Plays the
Simpsons.
old guy who
He
created
plays the
James
old
Scatry,
guy.
who got ripped off by the guy.
yes.
His name is Russ whatever Jr.
Yes.
Who's Alex Rocco.
Chester J. Lampwick.
Yes.
And
yes.
it's like liver and onions. That's
Yeah.
like I gave you a plate of corn muffins to paint my chicken coop, and you never did it. Make me paint my chicken coop. Like there's that whole exchange with Grandpa Simpson. I think that's the episode.
It
Let me
is Day
find
the
out.
Laughter Died? Is that what's
Day the
called?
Laughter Died
Okay.
or Day the Violence Died. I apologize.
Oh, okay.
Day the Violence Died. He is one of two centenarians to have guest starred in The Simpsons, the other being Bob Hope.
Wow.
How about that?
Don't worry, Mitch. This is worth it. This is explosive.
I never wanted it to happen. I do like Wagger's monkey sweatshirt.
Oh, thank you.
That's really nice.
Thank you so much. Lester and Eliza.
Lester.
How could we forget
and
Lester and
Eliza.
Eliza?
Lester is a
Lester
really
and
funny
Eliza.
name for the opposite Bart.
Yeah, it's very funny.
Lester and Eliza. We did it.
We did it.
We did it.
We certainly did it.
We did it.
You can't say we didn't.
What's Kirk Cameron up to lately?
I think he's having a birthday party at Subway. You're wearing Costco gear.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the Costco slice? Because we're talking pizza today.
Incredible.
What's your go-to? Do you get pep? Do you get cheese?
I guess I do usually do just plain cheese.
Okay.
The
Me
slice
too.
is so cheesy and thick and large
Yeah.
that I often feel like just the plain slice is going to fill me right up. I don't need anything else on top of that.
Yeah. Even when I was
Yeah.
earning pork, I would usually
Yeah.
opt for the cheese over the pep.
The
Even though I like
pepperoni
pep.
slice is delicious.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
sometimes it feels like Dare I say it, ungapachka.
Ungapachka, yeah.
It's the rare case of one ingredient being ungapachka because the based item is so kind of dense as it is.
And that's your choice now. It's a binary because they've eliminated Supreme.
Right.
That's off of the menu since the pandemic. I also will say that usually what I'm doing, usually my order of business, if I'm going to that Costco food court, I'm getting the hot dog combo, and then I'm getting a slice of cheese as a sidecar. Yeah. So I've already got a big meat log in one hand, so I don't necessarily need the extra meat.
Infamously, though, that cheese slice more calories than the pepperoni
That's
slice.
true, Mitch. That's a great point.
Why is that?
I don't know. Maybe it's just loaded with extra cheese.
It's made with love.
That's probably it.
That's the extra calories.
Yeah.
Right there.
Ungapachka.
And see, you couldn't make that joke if the character didn't have a little stickiness.
Or if I didn't have the toy right next to me, too, on top of that.
And they wouldn't make the toy if the character didn't matter.
That's when he has like 3/4 portions.
What is that?
When he has 3/4 portions, he's like, Unkar Placha.
That's what JJ really fucked up in Rise of Skywalker, was not bringing Unkar Plat back for the second beat of like, maybe 2/4 isn't too much.
I should deserve an extra quarter every once in a while.
1/2?
I actually genuinely think it's better than what we saw.
Yeah.
It's good.
Rise of Skywalker sucks.
It's a bad
I'm
movie.
with you 100% on that. That movie is garbage.
Mitch likes it more than Last Jedi.
That's his insane opinion.
It doesn't matter to me as much as
this is your
Last Jedi.
Yeah, it doesn't affect you as much. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Mitch, you ever have something you really need to get off your chest?
I do, Wags, all the time. In fact, sometimes I got to get it off my chest to you. I sometimes use you or my friends when I probably should be talking to somebody else.
Well, we all carry around different stressors, big and small. And when we keep them bottled up, it can start to affect us negatively. Happens to me too, happens to us all. Therapy is a safe space to get things off your chest and to figure out how to work through whatever's weighing you down.
Wags, I've benefited from therapy every time I've been doing it. I've done it for years off and on. We've talked about it before.
Yeah.
It's like taking your mind to the gym.
Right.
Getting the gunk out. You're feeling heavy. You got to talk stuff out. A therapist is always great to talk to someone. You go through stuff. You don't even think about it. A couple years later, hey, I got to talk to somebody about this.
Right. And it's also helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. And it isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try.
That's right, Wags. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge.
Get it off your chest with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/Doughboys today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Doughboys.
Hey, Wags, did you know learning actually makes a sound? It's true. Listen.
Wow.
That's the sound of you learning a new language with Babbel.
Be a better you in 2024 with Babbel, the science-backed language learning app that actually works. Don't pay hundreds of dollars for private tutors or waste hours on apps that don't really help you speak the language.
Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons are handcrafted by over 200 language experts to help you start speaking a new language in as little as 3 weeks, Wags.
Babbel's designed by real people for real conversations. Babbel's tips and tools are approachable, accessible, rooted in real-life situations, and delivered with conversation-based teaching so you're ready to practice what you've learned in the real world. Mitch, I gotta say, living in Southern California, living in LA, you'll encounter some Spanish from time to time. You'll find yourself in an interaction
of course,
where someone is a Spanish speaker. And I found it very helpful taking Babbel's lessons to just learn some real-life conversation skills so I'm not necessarily totally lost or feel like I have to be buried in a translator app if I'm having one of these interactions. It's really, really helpful.
I now understand when someone's telling me in Spanish that our podcast is trash, that trash is basura.
Studies from Yale, Michigan State University, and others continue to prove Babbel is better. One study found that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a full semester at college.
Wow. Babbel has over 16 million subscriptions sold, plus all of Babbel's 14 award-winning language courses are backed by their 20-day money-back guarantee.
Wow. Here's a special limited-time deal for our listeners. Right now, get up to 60% off your Babbel subscription, but only for our listeners at Babbel.com/Doughboys. Get up to 60% off at Babbel.com/Doughboys, spelled BABBEL.com/Doughboys. Rules and restrictions may apply. Okay, we got to talk about Sbarro.
Yeah.
Sbarro was previously covered in Munch Madness 2018, the Tournament of Champions,
Okay.
The Slice is Right, where it lost in round 1 to Blaze Pizza, which we were not particularly enthused about.
No,
so it did
that's
not
kind
have
of a brutal loss.
did not have
Yeah.
a good outing next to Blaze.
And how far did Blaze make it
Man,
after
I
that?
don't like
Blaze was out the next round.
I don't like Blaze at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Blaze, I
Speaking
think,
of
has
which,
also fallen off.
Costco made some noise in that tournament, I believe.
Didn't Costco win?
No, Costco made it to the finals, but Domino's ended up winning.
I mean, it's probably right.
Yeah, I mean, as
Yeah.
the old definitive chain pizza, though, I remember voting for Costco, but you can check the Doughboys wiki for,
You're basically saying, go look how Mitch fucked this up.
I'm not saying anything about that. I think Domino's is a worthy winner. Sbarro was founded in Brooklyn in 1956 by Italian-American immigrants Gennaro and Carmela Sbarro. So it's like there was a Sbarro family.
Yeah, it was a real...
It's so close to Sopranos. Carmela
Sbarro is so close to Carmela Soprano.
I did like a tiny amount of digging, not as much research as you probably did.
Yeah.
But it was mostly just to check. I was like, is Sbarro's one of these things that like a fast food company made up a fake name and a fake backstory?
No.
And it's like, oh no, this was an actual like New York slice joint.
Yes.
By real Italian Americans that then slowly grew into a thing. I was surprised that this place has like honest origins.
Right.
Yeah.
It almost doesn't make sense.
No,
because
it feels manufactured.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
And it feels so, it's been completely genericized at this point.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing distinctly even New York about it anymore. It's just like whatever. It's like the most it's the most mainstream kind of feeling presentation of pizza.
Yeah.
You know, it feels like there's a reason it's centered in food courts, where it started expanding to malls in 1970, and today most locations are in malls and shopping centers. This is a not so fun fact. Both Sbarro locations in the World Trade Center were destroyed in the September 11th attacks. Isn't that wild? 2 Sbarros.
He should have been
Leveled in
playing
one day.
basketball. Terry Rozier is right.
He was right.
We are getting an update. The second Sbarro's has been hit. This is unimaginable.
There was
we
one
cannot
in
even
each...
tally in real time the number of slices that have been lost.
There are currently 630 locations in 28 countries.
There was one in each tower?
That's wild.
Yeah, there were 2 of them, yeah. And they were 2 of the
Wow.
busiest locations, apparently.
Yeah.
So
there is, sorry to go off track
please.
here, but there was a Warner Brothers studio store also in, I think maybe in like the underpass between the 2 towers or under one of them. And I was like obsessed with the Warner Brothers studio store as a kid. And it was maybe the last standing location, certainly the last one in New York. And when it closed, they like pulled out of the wreckage the like signage of Bugs Bunny saying "That's all, folks,"
Oh
which
my
felt very ominous. It was
God.
like all over the news, and it is now in the World Trade Center Museum, the 9/11
Wow.
Memorial Museum.
Oh my
and
God.
it's like quietly kind of the bleakest thing, where it's
Yeah,
like
it really
this
is.
soot-singed Bugs Bunny in a tuxedo that's like half burned, and then just like "That's all, folks."
That is insane.
Yeah,
really dark.
it's really dark. Anyway, fun fact.
That is a fun fact, yeah.
I don't trust Bugs anymore. I don't trust Bugs Bunny anymore.
You think he was in on it?
I don't know.
Think he was part of a
It's
sleeper
this,
cell?
This weird shit that he's pulling. I mean, I don't like it. I don't like it. Bugs. Who
We-
knows with him? He is chaotic, Bugs.
He is.
Yeah. They explore some of this ground in Space Jam: A New Legacy. They get into it a little bit. There's a darker side of Bugs. So we met at the downtown LA location at the Fig at 7th Shopping Center.
Which seemed pretty new.
Pretty new one. This is a
Yeah.
recently constructed Sbarro, and this is part of it. We talked about this a little bit, Griffin, but
A true disaster day.
they have a
here.
food court there, which they call the Taste Food Hall. And this is like the term food hall has now been fully diluted to like a place that's got like, you know, a Sbarro and like the Melt and like a Panda Express. They're now calling a food hall, where it used to be more of a thing of like, here's a bunch of local places, you know, where you can, you know, get stand versions of some beloved local fare.
But it really felt like an airport terminal.
For sure.
Sort of food court where it was just like small kiosks. Some of the places feel like they probably had more limited menus, although the Sbarro was pretty well stocked.
Yeah, for sure. This is a full service Sbarro.
Yeah.
So,
and then just like cafeteria style seating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was an extremely busy Saturday in Los Angeles for whatever reason. There was a Dodgers game.
That's right.
Took me an insane amount of time to get down
Also,
there.
the LA Times Festival of Books.
Yes,
going on
I
at
don't
USC.
think that had as much to do
That's
with
a big event. A lot of people go to the Festival of Books, Mitch.
You kept saying that.
It's a major thing.
I think you joked that you'd look out at other cars on the highway and every driver was either a Mitch or a Wags, depending on which event they were going to.
Driving in opposite directions.
They all fit into one of the two types.
The train. I took the train home. There are a lot of Festival of Books
was there an
goers.
NBA playoff game that day too? Is that why?
There was the Clippers game, but I don't think that was the same day. I think that was the next day. Yeah.
Anyways,
I know it's
chaos.
Well, yeah, and far past Mank, even far past Pink.
Yes.
Yeah.
By the time that this comes out.
Yeah.
But can I paraphrase a line from The Social Network quickly?
Please.
Do you know what I like about podcasting with you, Mitch?
What's that?
You make me look on time. Because both to today's record and to the Sbarro's meal, that you asked to push up a little earlier.
I did ask to push it up earlier, which actually was probably bad.
Yeah.
Because it was 12:45. The game was at 1 at Dodger Stadium. We were going to go at 1. I had other obligations. I wasn't going to go at. I almost didn't go at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we made this plan, and I didn't want to go. But
none of us wanted to go.
None of us
we weren't
wanted
like excited to go.
No one wanted to go downtown.
I was excited to see you. I was excited to hang out, but I
was
wasn't
excited. I was excited to see you.
I know it was going to kind of make my, give me the rumblies. It was going to.
We'll talk about this.
Yeah.
I was surprised by how little trouble this gave me.
Interesting.
I was ready for the rest
Tums.
of my day to be bad.
Yeah.
And I didn't even take that many precautions.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't feel like I had to adjust.
I drove right into Dodgers traffic. It was a nightmare. Then downtown.
You also drove right into Dodger Stadium, which was a mistake, and then drove through the other side.
I did drive around the bases. People cheered for that.
Did.
And it counted as a score. And so people liked that as well.
You demanded they give you a trophy.
That's a story for another day.
Right, that's a triple. That's a Doughboys triple.
And I did grab a Dodgers dog on the way out.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's a side adventure. Getting down there was tough, but then
I've heard of a line drive, but this is ridiculous.
Very good.
Kind of drove around the bases.
Yeah, I like it.
And there's lines there.
There's lines,
and see, that's a joke, a sports joke that even I could get. That's what I like about it. That's a very...
You know what's funny, though, is I think people that like sports maybe wouldn't get it as much.
Well, then you know what? I appreciate me, the underserved audience.
I liked it. It was great.
Yeah.
Getting down there.
Yeah.
Then that shopping center is kind of chaotic in a way.
Yeah. I was 10 minutes late and I kicked back and I was like, I feel like responsible.
Well,
Legs and I just holding down.
Right, because I was there at 12:45.
Yeah.
And
I did try to text and say, this is bad.
It's fine. Mitch, it
you
was
texted
totally
and
fine.
said, I'm going to be more like 12:55. And anytime anyone pushes anything back, I'm like, then I will arrive at the exact time that they pushed it back to.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be early.
So
you weren't that late.
You weren't that late. I was there by myself for a bit, and I just was like looking about the Sbarro, taking pictures, and got asked if they could help me, and I said I was waiting for somebody. But I was just a guy who was taking pictures of a Sbarro like a psychopath for a bit.
And then we talked about Mike Myers a lot.
We did talk about Mike Myers. We did weirdly talk about Mike Myers.
We talked about Mike Myers a lot. Yeah.
And then I came in. I was going downstairs, walked by Dr. Dick.
Yeah, I was wondering when we were going to talk about Dr. Big Dick.
Dr. Big Dick.
I think it was Dr. Big Dick.
Did any of us take pictures?
I didn't. I felt uncomfortable taking pictures.
I did too. I wanted to take one.
Because we're going to be paraphrasing, which is unfortunate.
Yes.
We're not going to be doing justice to the man's language.
Well, I believe I left and probably saw him before you guys did, and I tried to text you immediately because that was my intention, was for one of you guys to maybe take a picture, but I don't think it would have been a comfortable moment to take.
Take a
photo.
We went there on 420.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a man standing right outside, like atop of the escalator, leaving that sort of mall area.
Yeah.
Who had a cardboard sign around his neck that explained that he was Dr. Big Dick.
Yes.
And he needed to raise money to get a penis shrinking surgery.
Yeah, cock reduction surgery, I believe is his language.
But there was also stuff before
his
that
penis
about
was harming vaginas. For being too good.
It was a lot of text.
It was long.
There was stuff before though that made it seem like he was a guy you could go to if you like want to get off on a bit. Like there was like a little bit of like
he was also like a gigolo, perhaps.
He was citing his bona fide. I mean, he was saying I hit it too good.
Yeah.
Right. It was also, it started out with Happy 420 where you're like, oh, this is a sign for today.
Yes. Right.
I don't know if this man's making a new sign every day.
Yeah.
if it was a special occasion for the holiday and he felt the need to do a special event sign.
Is he a doctor? We don't know. I mean, does he have
where's
his
we're
license?
sure.
But I walked by him
Uh-huh.
and went down the stairs, and then
You said, could you give me some of that dick if they cut it off? Are they gonna like give you the leftover?
I was holding a Dr. Small Dick sign for a while. And then so I'm sorry that added to the time I was late.
Yeah.
I went downstairs.
Let's also acknowledge that like at the top of the escalator, because this food court's like all the way down at the bottom.
Right.
There were like 3 freestanding signs specifically advertising Sbarro's now open.
They were really pushing
Sbarro's
the Sbarro.
the newest
for
addition
sure.
to our food court.
The weird thing though,
Yeah.
I went down there and an additional 5 minutes was trying to figure out where the fuck Sbarro was.
It's
the Taste Food Hall.
Yeah, the Taste Food Hall. They should
I
just
had
say
seen
food
Dr.
court.
Big Dick as I walked down the stairs. That probably was in my mind quite a bit.
Yeah.
But then also downstairs, the Taste Food Hall was so confusing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a little station within I thought it was a restaurant. I thought Taste was a restaurant.
Oh, you thought
No, yeah.
you didn't understand that it would contain other restaurants within it.
Yeah.
You were looking for freestanding Sbarro.
I was.
The signage was confusing, and I will also say, in my experience with shopping centers, typically the food court is on the top level.
Yeah.
Am I wrong about that? I feel like that's most malls. That If there's a food court, it's kind of cloistered and
This
on
is
an
in-
upper
I do
level.
feel like that's often the case.
This was on the lowest level.
Yeah.
This
you
can
had to
only
go
be described as a
subterranean.
crater. It's
Yeah.
basically
it's a
the mall
crater.
is like a crater.
It's a crater.
And we went in there, and there was a Sbarro kiosk and many other closed restaurants within this.
A lot of closed
The one next to
locations.
it was like lights off,
Just
sign
dark, yeah.
stripped, empty.
Yeah. Bizarre because
Yeah.
it was, of course, like we said, this is now 1 p.m. or whatever.
And the
Yeah.
Sbarro seemed very new. Weiger and I noticed that like the lighting fixtures seem brighter in the Sbarro than all the other kiosks. Like this is like
Yes.
freshly installed.
Yes.
Also, I feel like Sbarro has updated all of their sort of like branding and their like iconography recently.
sure,
to
yes.
kind of like a
Little
sleeker
snazzier.
look.
Yeah.
And this was clearly built around that new sensibility. I did notice on the signs they had up at the top of the escalator, this I guess is their new catchphrase, Sbarro, the original NY slice, which I
Right.
think is an insane thing to say.
Yeah, I guess if they're
To
citing
say
their
where the
history, but I'm
original-
The
sure-
original,
the original, yeah.
NY slice.
Yeah, no.
And I'm like, it's what made me look them up and be like, was this fucking company created in a lab? And it's like, no, it did start out as a New York pizzeria, but in the 50s.
Yeah.
They weren't like the first people off the boat in Ellis Island making a pie.
You know what?
Right.
Yeah.
I choose to believe in Sbarro.
Wow.
I believe it as the first New York
This
slice.
is your version of like creationism, where you're like the world's only 200 years old and the first slice of pizza was made in 1956.
I believe. Why would they lie to us?
No, you're
Griff?
right.
Why would they lie?
They have nothing to gain.
I guess they're probably at least their defense of it would be that like we brought the New York slice to the masses. We made it national. We made it a thing. People know about the New York slice because of Sbarro. But I don't think
The
there's much
original
truth to that.
commercializers of the New
Exactly,
York
yes,
slice.
yeah.
Yeah.
If we're talking Sbarro, we gotta talk Michael Scott for a second.
Oh boy, we're fucking getting into this? Okay. Let me roll up my sleeves.
Loved Sbarro
He does
in New
love
York
Sbarro.
City, and it's a big gag in
It's a
the
fun
office. It is a fun bit.
Yeah.
Right. And I was trying to remember that there was Jon Stewart did his pieces on Trump's pizza eating habits.
Yes.
That I think are still 2 of the best monologues he ever did. And I think Trump likes Sbarro's, but Familia's is the one he really loved.
Mm.
And I thought Familia's was a chain nationwide, if not internationally, on the same scale as Sbarro's, because there's so many of them in New York, and didn't realize it is New York only. And
Wow.
Familia's is, despite being New York only, what I thought Sbarro's was, where it's like created by some Albanian like
Oh wow.
restaurateur family.
Yes.
Has no real like historical grounding.
How is it?
It is worse than Sbarro. And when I
Worse
was
than
like,
Sbarro.
yeah,
Interesting.
I think so. And I was even like, when you sent me the list of options of chains to cover, I was like, it feels wild that Sbarro has like not gotten a proper episode yet.
Yeah, it's interesting. We never got around to it. I think it might be partly because they are kind of in the exurbs or they're
Yeah.
parts of LA where we're not usually going to.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And as like, I said that like the bagel with the works is my number 1 favorite food, but my number 2 favorite food is probably just like a plain slice of pizza. I eat it far
That's
too
my
often.
number 1. Yeah.
And I'm like a New York City boy, born and raised, and here's this fucking chain claiming they're the original. I was like, I might have some thoughts in this. I certainly ate Sbarro's growing up, and
Yeah.
I was always thinking I could be having a better slice of pizza almost anywhere else, right? And then I went back through and I was like, oh, what I in my memory, Mandela effect, had thought was the childhood Sbarros close by that we had sometimes go to in a pinch was a Familia's. And I was like, I do think most of my Sbarro's experience is just like airports and shit.
Interesting.
It's traveling to other places. And then I was sort of digging in. I was like, I think Sbarro's is down to one location in the, at least within Manhattan or Brooklyn. I think there's maybe one other one in the Bronx. They used to have a big one in Times Square.
Yeah.
Where certainly it's like Times Square, not a great food neighborhood. You maybe pop in there, get a quick slice.
Sure.
That was
the M&M store.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put some M&Ms on the pizza. New York style, we call it. There's like one near Penn Station that is like notoriously kind of like grimy and faded and what have you. And I think that's the only one left in New York. And Familia
That might be the
still
Michael Scott one.
stands strong. But yes, it is. I believe it is.
Yeah.
I believe that's the one, and that's the only one that's left. And Familia's has kind of like eaten their lunch. Familia's is like fucking 15 locations in Manhattan only.
I'm just surprised.
And I think it's a shittier version of a similar slice.
Yeah, I guess I'm just like, as someone who I love anytime I've been to the city that never sleeps, the Big Apple, I'm like, I love it here. This is great. I can take the choo-choo around. It's very walkable. There's lots of great food.
City that never sleeps. You're in bed by 8 p.m.
Where's that Big Apple, buddy? Rubbing your hands together.
All right. I'm surprised.
He shows up. Giant corkscrew.
I'm surprised that a place like a Familia's, like a chain, could thrive there.
This is what I'm surprised by.
Like
It's
Dallas barbecue makes sense to me because it's like there isn't a lot of barbecue there, or there isn't like a homegrown barbecue scene. But like this is like the slice spot in the country.
Yeah, it's weirder that Familia's could be. It's called Famous Familia's, by the way. And that was the one that Trump took Sarah Palin to.
Wow,
I believe. But it's wild that they could succeed so wildly only within New York and that they've never seemingly expanded. But they similarly have what I would call like an airport slice. And I think so much of Sbarro's business is like, I'll eat a slice of Sbarro's if I'm in a place where I don't have access to better pizza.
Yeah, for sure.
And you're like, you know what? I fucking feel like a slice. Like we were talking about travel, food habits. And you're like, sometimes it feels like a risky proposition to eat a greasy slice of pizza before a flight, but sometimes you're just like, you know what? That's what I want to feel.
So I've lived in Southern California my entire life. And so there isn't, until relatively recently, the idea of a slice shop was like pretty uncommon. Yeah. And certainly growing up, I was like, oh, pizza, that's the thing you get delivered or you get for takeout. Right. Or you go to a parlor and you sit down and we got a pie. Like it was a pie-only presentation.
Right. And you can get a pie from Sbarro's. They deliver, they have takeout and all of that. But it is like really conceptually a slice shop first and foremost.
A slice shop. And so for me at the Lakewood Mall, and I for whatever reason, my family did not get Sbarro. So it was always like a thing I coveted, but it was the forbidden fruit. But that was the first place like, wow, you can just buy a slice of pizza. Yeah. Like I remember the concept seeming novel to me.
And that's why they fit in like a mall, in an airport, any place where you're sort of on the go. And New York is lousy with like slice shops like that. I mean, I would say like
But a lot of suburban America is not like, it's not a common thing.
But it's also like so much of the slice shop culture is like you're walking from point A to point B. You just get a slice and keep walking with it, right? You're not going to fucking sit down there. You're not going to get a slice to go in your car or whatever it is.
Throw out half of it and go downstairs into the Comedy Cellar.
Jerk off a little bit.
Yeah, classic New York stuff.
Yeah. Order a slice of pepperoni and jerk off while they're heating it up. Go down to the cellar, jerk off on stage. I have a real affinity for Domino's.
I do too. I like Domino's.
And it is the thing that a lot of my like fellow born and raised New Yorkers will mock me for.
Sure.
Of like, why the fuck do you eat Domino's when you live in New York City?
Domino's is different. We've talked about this before. Yeah. Domino's is different.
This is my whole take, is I'm like, I don't eat Domino's when I want pizza. I eat Domino's when I want Domino's. It's the specific flavor palette of Domino's.
It's like there's so many great like taquerias out here in Los Angeles. I want that kind of. I want to go get some al pastor taco. Get an al pastor taco on like a fresh corn tortilla. Right. That's a different experience from getting a beefy 5-layer burrito from Taco Bell. It's a completely different thing.
But like Familia's and Sbarro, I feel like are Not that. They are just, here's a worse slice of pizza.
Right,
Like,
sure.
they're not kind of changing the chemical structure in the way that Domino's is, where they're like, we're making something that is not really natural, you know? But it's
Sure.
going to, like, hit your flavor centers really hard. And, like, Sbarro's is just like, what if your slice was a little breadier?
Yeah.
Like, I always think of it as, like, sort of, like pizzas with, like, Wonder Bread-esque crusts.
Exactly.
You know?
I always, it's funny because as a boy in Quincy, I always thought Sbarro was like, hey, this is like a fancier version of pizza.
Interesting.
So I didn't.
And you had Regina over there.
I mean, Regina was my favorite, of course,
Sure.
but I was like, oh, this is like a fancy New York good piece of pizza. Like I thought of it
interesting.
as quality.
Because they were telling you they were the original New York slice.
There you go.
Maybe I just believe. Maybe I just fell for it. I also just feel so bad for the Sbarro employees who were there when Trump and Palin went in together. Is that who you said it was?
Yeah.
It was Trump, and he frequents the chain pizzerias more than any classic New York.
That's why we love him.
That's why we love him. He's a man of the people.
I feel like them and their entourage, whoever's paying, is hitting the no tip button on the iPad.
Oh, hard.
Like that's not a great duo to be serving.
No,
Yes.
no, and just annoying to listen to. But
Exactly.
but I thought that like Sbarro was like a quality. Like, hey, this is like a quality. It's a step above, you know, Domino's or Pizza Hut or whatever. That's what I thought.
There is something interesting culturally to, like, you know, the classic thing that everyone jokes about, but like the amount of different slice shops in New York City that are called some variation of like Ray's Pizza, original Ray's, famous original Ray's, famous Ray's, you know, the original famous Ray's. Like, and you're like, who is the original Ray? You can never source this, right? And like the same with like John's and Joe's and all these sort of like variations of first names.
We have a similar thing out here with Tommy's, which was the original Tommy's, and there's a bunch of variants of like Tom's Burgers, Thomas's Burgers. There was one where the apostrophe was in the wrong place and it was Thoma's Burgers.
Right.
There's a bunch of stuff that like sound like a derivation of Tommy's, but they're not actually Tommy's. Big Tommy's, etc.
Right, and you sort of know like there is some original location that must be the famous one, and that's not even necessarily one and the same with the one that is the best one.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
But part of the culture just becomes like, well, the thing that's really famous is all these names, all these places having similar names. I do think it is like a testament to the success of Sbarro's branding that it like pops up in like Quincy and you're like, oh, this is like a place with New York bona fides, which it does have.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, I think it was probably like in town or something. Like it probably was in Boston. It was like, oh, there's Sbarro. You know,
but you thinking it's upscale, I wonder how much of that is like them sort of pushing, like leading with their New York chest and being like, here's a slice of New York brought to you in your city.
Also just a name that weirdly has zing. Like
It's
Sbarro. Sbarro.
And I love that it's their actual name.
Yeah, it's
that
great.
It's not like fucking Mrs. Fields cookies where you're like, she didn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there was an actual
Mrs.
Sbarro.
Field didn't exist.
Mrs. Fields didn't exist, right?
You know who
I think she's a creation.
I think Mrs. Fields is an invention,
Yeah.
but the one that always
It's heartbreaking.
those C's from C's Candy is real.
That's why she never responds to your DMs.
The one that always blew my mind when I was older,
Up to anything fun tonight?
and I found this out, but I had Mavis Beacon teaches typing.
Not a real person.
They're not a real person.
There's
And
a documentary about her
but
now, or about her lack of existence.
Yeah, but there's just a photograph of a human being on the front. It's like, oh, of course, that's Mavis Beacon. It's like they just hired an actor to be like, you're going to be Mavis Beacon. You're just going to be the face of this franchise. Right. You don't exist. We're not even going to do like a drawing of you. We're going to use your photograph.
Yeah, it's wild.
Very strange.
You know who taught me typing?
Who?
Mario.
Yeah.
Oh, you had Mario teaches typing.
Yeah,
Man,
Mario
I always
teaches
wanted
typing.
that.
Yeah.
Look cool.
And he's not fictional.
He just always found Mavis Beacon a little shrill.
Mario was it was basically like the video game.
Why is she telling me how to type? Where does she get
Back off, lady.
The Mario teaches typing was tricky.
I'm not looking to become a secretary. I want to be a plumber.
I wonder if you can download Mario teaches typing because I would like to play it
Yeah,
now.
you can definitely emulate it.
But
you know what's an awesome one? Finish that.
Well, I was just saying, like, I wasn't good at typing, so I was just like, what is it called?
Hunt and peck.
Hunt and peck.
Yeah, 2 fingers.
To like play Mario, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Mario teaches texting. Is that a thing?
Yeah, it
I
is,
love that.
Yeah, just the quick thumbs.
Eggplant emoji. He tells you like, Princess Peach, I sent her an eggplant like emoji. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
He teaches you the ins and outs.
Yeah. Peach kind of a suggestive emoji as well.
It's true.
It's true.
Inherently.
Yeah.
Peach, look, I'm not going to say it.
Say it.
Peach.
Say it.
Peach is pussy. Wags.
Peach's ass.
I thought it was ass. I always thought it was
Peach's
ass.
ass.
I thought it was pussy.
Oh.
I thought it was ass.
It is?
Well, I think in emoji language.
That's why you never eat peaches.
Don't worry, you can have peaches now.
Yeah, back on the menu.
I thought that peach was also, I thought like ladies used it a lot.
I think just imagining like an ass being presented to you. It's like you maybe have some options there,
He's
but I
got
think it's
that
supposed to
crack.
be an ass.
Yeah, wipe. Powder.
I feel like, Mitch, you're not wrong. That peach used to be used in some applications in slang for vaginas.
Yes, thank
Sure.
you.
And
I
now
think it's more like getting ass, like just
Yeah,
the
sure.
general getting
Got
ass.
it,
I
got
think
it,
it's
got it.
really because
Got it.
the specific like emoji of peach looks so much like an ass
It
that
looks like an
now
ass.
that has has consumed it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I also think like
Yeah.
you're kind of like looking at ass from behind, right? So you might be seeing some other stuff.
Yeah,
you
go
know?
on.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
You know when you like come up behind a peach?
Who's there? It's a me. He's coming up behind a peach. We got to talk about our
Mario's
food.
about to fuck Peach in this
No,
scenario.
he was just like sneaking up to say hi.
Yeah,
Oh.
teacher typing.
Yeah.
Tawdry.
Eggplants and peaches,
Yeah.
kind of gross combo.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to have those things together.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Inherently
They should
incompatible.
work together. I
Right.
feel like they should
And this
work.
is the lesson of the Catholic Church.
Never.
Never put an eggplant in a peach. That's not what God intended.
Cucumber. Also, I'm just thinking of like the other things that could work.
Yeah, I think, but it's just like the eggplant has become the default. Like that's
Yeah.
just, that's just what it is now. I'm curious if either of you, we're talking typing sims. Did either of you ever mess with Typing of the Dead? Because I had that for Sega Dreamcast, and that was
No.
awesome.
Typing up the
No,
dead.
I never
Typing
had
that-
Dreamcast.
It was a reskinned House of the Dead.
Wow.
But instead of shooting with a light gun, you typed words. So like a
Wow.
zombie would be approaching you.
Dreamcast had like a keyboard plugin?
It did have a keyboard, a full keyboard, which you could use for that and for Phantasy Star Online.
And only those two games, basically.
Yeah, there weren't that many games that
Yeah.
supported
Was
it.
there chat capacity?
They had I don't remember their online
chatability,
chats.
I guess.
You could
Yeah.
certainly chat in some games.
Yeah.
I don't remember if they had like a chat program through their like Dreamcast Online dial-up service.
I always find it fascinating when they like add some sort of like hardware plugin
Yes.
that then just doesn't get used for other games. That was
Yeah,
that
for sure.
the Pikachu Speak game. What's that game called?
Oh, I know what you mean.
Where there was the Nintendo 64 plugin to the controller that was
Oh,
a
yeah.
microphone,
Microphone,
and they
yeah.
were like, "Well, this
Yeah.
is going to open up so many possibilities for
There was
games that you can talk to," and everyone's just like, "Who fucking gives a shit?"
Yeah, these
Yeah.
one-off peripherals.
Yeah.
DK Jungle Beat was another one, but people liked.
DK Jungle Beat's great, but also
See?
like the Donkey Konga. This is the thing. This is the exception of that
Mm.
because Donkey Konga was the original game.
Yeah.
And that's like the rhythm game that
Sure.
uses the DK bongos. But then
Yeah.
you have DK Jungle Beat, which is a platformer which uses the bongos to control them.
Yeah, that was smart.
And that's really fun. They got a different use out of it.
I guess that's what people need to do is create peripherals, but commit to them as a franchise.
Right.
And be like, even if other developers aren't going to use this, we'll make a sequel that still uses this.
Well, you really just have to be Nintendo to
the
do that.
Wii
Yeah.
did the whole like it was too much.
That was too much.
The Wii is too much.
It was too much. The Wii was too much.
What did you type? Like it was Typing of the Dead. You said.
Yeah, Typing of the Dead. You'd
So would you-
have like words or sentences
Wow.
over the zombies
Wow.
as they're
That's cool.
approaching.
So would it be
I like
like
that.
Corpse or
They weren't
Necrophile?
necessarily even like themed zombie stuff.
It was just
like it would just be like whatever,
potato.
just challenging words
Yeah.
or stuff that you needed to practice.
Cool.
And I think the bosses were were full sentences or paragraphs that you had to type out. It was fun. Anyway, we got to talk about Sbarro. We're almost at the 90-minute mark. So we got 4 New York slices. We got 2 cheese. We blocked out 5 hours for our records a day, Griffin, and we did not book enough time.
did not.
Anyway, we got 4 slices, 2 cheese. We ordered 3. They only gave us 2. It was fine.
Yeah.
We got a New York pepperoni and
They didn't
jalapeno
charge us
slice.
for it.
They didn't charge
No,
us
they
for it.
didn't.
It was fine.
Yeah.
We got a
Well,
lot
they
of stuff.
did put it in the conveyor belt, which was strange.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to that
Right.
slice.
Because I even said, like, just, I know we've been throwing a lot out. You want to make sure 3 slices. And she was like, yeah, this is your 3rd slice. And
Yeah.
then it just, it didn't get rung up.
Is there some sort of black hole in that conveyor belt?
And we also got a buffalo chicken, mozzarella buffalo sauce, grilled chicken, red onion, and drizzle with ranch dressing.
No, they have 2 different crust types. There's their
They
thick
do.
crust, and there's the original New York XL.
That's what we're starting with. We're starting
Okay.
with the New York slices.
Okay, so
The,
you're
yes,
just-
the
those
two,
are just
the
those. Okay.
XL and New York slice is the language. You're
I
correct.
thought they had a really good spread here because I like even before meeting up with you guys, I downloaded the app, which was okay.
The app's not crap.
The
It's
app's
pretty
not
decent.
crap, and I was like seeing like how many different items do they theoretically offer. And I'm curious to compare this to like a food court and seeing like, oh, they're going to have like 3. Your classic garlic bread crust thing. Where
Sure.
You see it on the website. It's never actually there in person unless you use that UPC code.
Yeah.
And I got there and it's like they had a good spread. They had almost every item they claimed to sell
Yeah.
was available within that very small footprint.
No, they were, and again, it might be because they're a newer location, but
Yeah.
they were fully stocked back
Yeah.
there. The entire, like, because all these items are prepared.
Yeah.
Or
there's-
items that I knew Sbarro even had, I would
Right.
say.
Yeah, they're all there.
Chicken parm was on display. We
Exactly.
didn't get it. Meatballs, everything you could want.
We got a ton of stuff.
Right.
Okay, I will
Not
say,
enough. We didn't get enough.
I think the New York slices were the best thing that we had. I
Yeah.
mean, the cheese slice and the buffalo chicken slice were both hitting.
The buffalo chicken slice was
They're
kind
both
of
decent.
a home run. I
Yeah.
think I also got the jalapeno and pepperoni
You did,
slice.
yes.
Right, which was very spicy.
It
It
was
had
good.
good.
It was super spicy.
It had a good kick to it. You're
I
not
ha-
eating pork, but you took a piece of just the jalapeno.
I did take the jalapeno, yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I've heard you are.
I'm a bit of a heat
something
seeker,
of a
and
heat
it was
seeker.
pretty spicy. I
I
was
had
like,
to make him do it.
yeah. No, it was like a potent
you want to see
pickled
it.
jalapeno.
You want to see it?
You want to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Skinner isn't going to play Freebird.
Yeah.
I came all the way here.
Urkel's not going to say,
I
did
had a
I do that?
babysitter.
Yeah.
Right.
You got to do it.
Yeah.
You go see the Austin Powers musical. You want to see his hog. That's why you're there.
His
Yeah.
famous hog. We all know the
Yeah, it's
cornerstone
not
of the
Yeah
Austin
Baby
Powers
or anything
movies
like that. Is
is
you want to
seeing
see
his penis
hog.
clearly.
You want to have the mishap when they're doing
Yeah.
the stunt with hiding
Yeah.
the nudity and see his hog.
I just love that classic bit where there's just a sustained long close up of his unobstructed penis. That cornerstone of the franchise. And he turns around slowly and he's like, here's it from a couple angles. Do
Yeah,
you want
right.
to come out from under? Do you want to do like a low angle shot? No, I thought we were saying the cheese slice was fine.
It was fine, yeah.
It was solid.
Yeah.
I was not like looking forward to this meal particularly. And I was like, all of this is a little better than I remember Sbarro's being.
Definitely the buffalo chicken, for sure. That
In
was
my
a tier above.
memory, and possibly this is false, I feel like historically for a while, they just had one crust type. And now they shift to this, oh, there's a thicker crust and a thinner crust. And I
Yeah.
always remembered the Sbarro crust being in kind of a gross middle zone.
Interesting.
It's not trying to
Yeah.
replicate like a Chicago deep dish, but it's also not a proper New York sort of foldable slice.
Yeah.
And I still think their like New York slice is a little thicker than most slice shops would give you
I fully agree.
in New York City, but it's closer to what I want.
Sure.
I think it's also a little bit thicker because they are dealing with most of their market is
Yeah.
people who aren't in New York, and these are people who are be like, if you get a slice that's burned, which is very common, some
Yep.
places just do it that way. They'd be like, this is burned, like something's wrong with it, instead of
Yeah.
understanding that's how it comes. And then also, I think they probably are just expecting a little bit more value
Yeah.
in terms of just like this should be thicker, a little bit more substantial because they paid $8 for
Yes,
it
exactly.
at the mall.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that we had two things. Well, one thing going first with both slices
Mhm.
is that the cheese and the buffalo chicken slice, which I would classify the buffalo chicken slice as a good slice
I would say it
of
was
pizza.
fully
Yeah,
a
that was good.
good
I liked
slice of pizza.
I enjoyed it.
But both of them seemed pretty fresh.
They
Yeah.
did.
The
yes.
cheese
It
pizza,
also
we
pretty
we
fresh.
took like the first slices out of it, I
Yeah.
believe.
Because
And the
I
same with the buffalo.
a lot of kind of like mid-tier New York slice shops
Mhm.
that like to go fancy with like the topping options and like some kind of crazy specialty slices. You get out there and you see like, oh, they got their fucking like a big ziti pie, right?
Sure.
And you're like, they make one of these a day
Mhm.
and it's looking pretty goddamn congealed.
Yeah.
You know, you get there at 4:00. It's like, this isn't a fresh pie. You're seeing it. They're going to heat it
Wow.
up. They're going to try to bring it back to life. But it felt like, no, we're getting like fresh pies. We weren't there crack of the morning.
Right.
And it feels like there was sort of turnaround there. I also feel like you guys always talk about, and I think this is usually a good metric, you judge a pizza place by its plain slice. How do
For
they
sure.
handle the basic, the
Yeah.
fundamental? It did kind of feel, with maybe one exception we'll get to in a moment, the more toppings on the slice, the better it got. Their toppings
Wow.
were pretty good. Their plain slice was solid, but maybe a little bland.
It's funny because I think my favorite was the plain slice.
Interesting.
Well,
We kept
the
one.
buffalo chicken I liked a lot.
I think I probably put the buffalo chicken above
We
the
kept
plain
one
slice.
plain slice nude and another plain slice we hit with a little bit of the grated Parmesan and the red pepper.
By the way, insane that they have one Parmesan and one pepper shaker for the entire restaurant.
And no garlic.
No garlic.
No oregano.
Yeah.
Oh, also, there should be. I like that it was in the shakers.
I like that
but-
it was in the shaker, but like they'll throw out a few different
Insane.
shakers there.
Insane.
Because some people are just going to take them to their tables and leave them there.
Well, that's the
Like
thing.
us.
I was
Yeah.
like, right.
We brought them back.
We have like fucking 10 slices.
Yes.
Right? I want to hit them with this shit. I'm not going to like do it there at the counter because other people have to buy. So then I'm taking them back to our table.
Right.
And then I feel like a hog.
Yeah, you don't want to post up at the register with
Right.
the shakers.
You want to hear something about me?
Hmm.
I only use Parmesan and red pepper on slices the next day that I'm reheating.
Interesting. Because, yeah, you said let's keep one slice nude. I don't want.
I didn't want red. I didn't want the Parmesan and red
That is-
pepper at all.
That is interesting.
I don't need it.
I usually go with a lot of red pepper because I'm something of a heat seeker.
I've heard this about you. I have heard that about you.
I will say that I think the New York slices were my favorite thing that we had.
Yeah.
The pan slices, which is the different form factor,
Yeah.
the thicker crust.
Right.
Yes.
Even
I thought-
thicker than my previous remembered doughy Sbarro standard.
These are thick, and I think they just did not work.
They were basically dog
I
shit.
thought they were really bad.
They felt like frozen pizza, like
Yeah.
bad frozen pizza brand, where you're just like you cook this thing as hard as you want. It's never gonna get crispy.
No.
It's never gonna get crunchy.
They were very dry. I feel
They
like
were dried out. That was the
Yeah.
other thing. I don't know if that was the reheating process or whatever, but like I
Yeah.
just like they
Tho-
should not be attempting this.
those were sitting around and they were thicker. And then when they put them through the conveyor belt, they just didn't reheat the same way.
and we
It's like
were like-
eating a lukewarm quiche. It was
Right.
really unappealing.
We were trying to like cut up slices so that we weren't like building on each other's bites. And those slices just kind of deconstructed. Like
Yeah.
the second you put a fork or knife in there, it was just like crumbling.
yeah.
Yeah.
We got a spinach and mushroom and a pepperoni and sausage. I just had the spinach and mushroom, but that was the other thing.
I
Just
don't know
like
if I had a bite of that spinach and mushroom.
you didn't
It
miss
was the
anything.
only thing I didn't bite. It looked like dog shit.
It was pretty bad, and
Yeah.
it was also just so many wet ingredients.
Yeah.
And then just like the only flavor that was the only thing of that was any source of flavor there was the cheese itself, because that sauce is not particularly robust.
But you're right that like quiche was kind of the texture and the
Yes.
look of it. When
Yeah.
you were looking at sort of like a cross section of those slices, it was weird that like they didn't look appetizing in the window, and when they ran them through the oven, they came out looking even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just a hard avoid for me. I would just not get
Yes.
a pan slice from
Yeah.
Sbarro. We also got some stromboli. So
Yeah, they seem to be pushing this hard.
They
This
really-
seems like a
yeah.
recent thing. They had 3 flavors they were pushing hard.
Yeah. We got 2 of them.
we got 2 stromboli. We got a spinach stromboli, and we also got a pepperoni sausage and bacon stromboli.
And then they just had a straight up only pepperoni, which had some sesame seeds on the top.
right.
Yours was but the one you were mostly working on that one was spinach and ricotta, right?
It was spinach and ricotta. And
Yeah.
so I was biting into this thing.
Here's a hot take. Stromboli is choose one. Stromboli or calzone. One's got to go.
Well, it feels like they got rid of calzone, right? Did they have calzones? there?
They don't have calzones. I would be at like, but you mean like the cuisine?
We
You mean
as
like
a
Italian
people?
food.
we as a people, get rid of one of them.
What's your
One's gotta
what's your
go.
pick?
One's got to go.
One's got to go.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get either. I don't get much of either anymore.
It's so heavy, and I think I'd
Yeah.
rather just have pizza if I'm going to commit to that amount of calories.
I loved calzones as a kid.
yeah.
I just think the first time I found out about it, it felt so exciting to be like, oh, there's like all these same ingredients I like in a slightly different form factor, and it feels like a fun like project.
Yeah.
And I always like the taste of them. They undeniably are so fucking difficult to eat.
They are. I think I would
Can I-
Like a good
can I-
calzone, the calzone that is the best made and tastes the best also is the hardest to physically
right.
keep intact.
And
Yeah,
you're
I know-
also
I know
dealing
I
with some possible like tongue burning. which
Sure.
is- I've got some
you're
really
gonna
bad tongue
burn the inside
scalding
of
from
your
a,
mouth.
Yeah.
from a calzone.
I know that I was the one who proposed this, but I've changed my mind. I think you absolutely need to keep both of them.
Okay, got it,
I'm
got it.
sorry.
Both
I'm
gotta
going back.
stay.
Both have to stay.
Both have to stay.
Stromboli, I just realized, is just a portable. It's a much easier to transport calzone.
Their stromboli was kind of like a higher end hot pocket.
It was very hot
Sure,
pockety.
right.
It was
Yeah,
very
for
hot
sure.
pockety.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought the spinach stromboli, as I was biting into this, I was like, first off, loaded with spinach. So, just very, very wet. It's got ricotta and Romano.
One of the wettest cheeses.
One of the wettest cheeses. One of these cheeses, I think it was the ricotta, was just so overpowering.
Yeah.
And I was biting this for a little bit, and I think I just asked out loud, "Is this gross?" Because I wasn't sure. I was like, "What I'm tasting is so potent."
You took a bite, you kind of tilted your head. And you were like, you prepared yourself like, what I'm about to say is going to be a bold question. It might rattle the table.
Well, because it was like so powerful that I'm like, is this just like really flavorful? And I'm like having a strong response because it's delicious. But then I was having more of it like, no, I think this tastes kind of putrid. I think this kind of tastes like a cleaning product.
I took a bite of this thing.
Yeah.
And I asked, they got Arthur Curry back there in the kitchen? Because this is the fucking wettest recipe of all time. Is my man Aquaman making this thing? You're going to double down ricotta on spinach?
Yes.
It just was hard to hold together.
Understandably.
Namor the Submariner, is he back there?
Is your chef going to join the Justice League or the other one? Is that what's going on?
I was feeling the same way.
General Vuko? Played by Willem Dafoe, who trained Aquaman. Is he back there?
Is that what's going on?
Orm, the Ocean Master?
Squidward.
Is Squidward back there?
Squidward back
in the
there?
kitchen?
I usually think of him flipping burgers. Is he flipping Stromboli?
Did he change professions? Same industry, but he's got a different job now?
Is Naiad back there?
Naiad might be back there.
The wettest of all movie characters?
Pyacon?
Is Pyacon back there? Is Pyacon in the fucking kitchen? Is that what you're telling me? Pyacon's back in there?
Is Tanawari back there?
Is that what's happening?
Is that who's running this location?
What's another wet character?
Is Jar Jar back there? Is Jar Jar Binks of
Naboo
back there?
Yeah.
Pretty wet.
Is fucking Tarple's back there?
General Tarple's back there?
Is Boss Nass laughing
That's what's going on.
There?
Boss Nass is in the kitchen.
Nass, he's the boss of this location. You can do it.
Is Abyss back there?
The fucking Abyss back there?
Is the Abyss back there?
The Abyss is working in the kitchen?
Is the whole movie The Abyss back there?
Oh, you're telling me Abyss is manning the pizza oven? Is that what's going on? Is the fucking Sphere back there?
Is Sphere back there?
Is the Red October back there?
Fucking Red October.
You got a fucking submarine working the line? Not even the crew members inside of it, but the submarine itself, it's grown arms and legs, and it's making this goddamn Stromboli?
I agree with this.
That's what I'm asking.
I agree.
I don't have an answer.
You put your order into the kitchen,
and
they don't understand it because they only speak Russian until the camera pushes in. They're like, one Stromboli coming up. That's what's going on.
That is what's going on.
Before you see Abyss, you must take a piss. That's like a good
because it's a long movie.
Yeah.
They that was a notoriously like nightmarish production. Because Cameron was like very insistent in doing everything real. Most of the cast was like getting the bends in real time.
I worked on the Tomorrow War. I worked with the guy who was in Terminator and then was in Titanic.
Oh wow!
And he was telling me like
T2.
He was in T2.
He started on T2, so he joined Cameron post Abyss.
Yes, I believe so. And he was just telling me like stories of like being in like pools of water for so long.
Yeah.
And then eventually they were like, they rioted basically. And then he still was like, I like Jim. He's a good guy. But he was like, like just bobbing in water for hours.
Famously, the crew of The Abyss had shirts made that said life's abyss and then you die.
Wow.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's really
fun. And they meant it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what James Cameron's up to these days?
What?
He's in his tiny sub in the kitchen at fucking Sbarro making my Stromboli. Is that what you're telling me? James Cameron's back there?
Apparently that Stromboli came straight from the ocean floor.
And when you say he's in a sub, he's sitting in a loaf of
He's
an
Italian sub now.
And let's also, I know we're having fun and we're making jokes.
Sure, yeah.
But let's briefly shout out the memories of the billionaires in the submersible that exploded. They never made it.
No, yeah.
To get the Stromboli. That's why they were going down there in the first
For
place.
sure.
They were hoping to go deep enough to get the spinach and ricotta Stromboli.
It was that's how wet it was.
That's how wet it was.
I pray to God Cameron never makes a mistake and takes the Italian sub down into the water. How sad would that be to
really
read?
Sad.
Yeah.
Lose two greats.
Yeah. The Italian sub and Cameron?
Yeah.
You're saying that your greatest fear is that James Cameron, rather than getting into a metal, like steel vessel,
Yes.
just climbs inside of a giant sandwich.
Accidentally is going to get inside an Italian sub.
And then drowns. And in the fallout of that, no one can ever eat that sandwich ever again.
What do they call in Italy? What do they call what is an Italian sub?
Isn't it an Italian-American creation? Don't they have different sandwiches there?
No, I'm saying the actual submarine.
Oh, what's the Italian word for submarine?
Yeah, I feel like it's got to.
Should I look it up?
Look it up.
Bring up Google Translate.
It's got to get mixed up over there. It has to. I mean, it's gotta, right?
Soto Marina.
People trying to order lunch, they give them a fucking scuba helmet.
Soto Marina?
Yeah, or Soto Marino.
Soto Marino. Wow, how about that?
Soto Marino.
Soto Marino.
Soto Marino.
You meant the ship, not the sandwich, right?
Yes.
Soto Marino.
Soto Marino.
Soto Marino. Hey, give me a Soto Marino. One Supreme Court justice coming right up.
No. No. It was wet.
It was wet. We should. I don't know if we've touched upon this yet.
The other one was not wet, and I actually didn't mind the other one too much.
No, it was okay. I do think we probably would have been better off going with just the pepperoni.
Yeah.
That one was a little overstuffed where the flavors were fighting each other, I would say a bit.
I think that
But it wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad.
Unkar Pluchka.
Yes.
The bacon on top, because it was pepperoni sausage. Right. Bacon on top.
It was like bacon bits.
Yeah. Which you could barely taste or whatever.
It also feels like one of those like 15 to 20-year-old things that like chains do this a lot, where it's just like the idea of putting bacon on everything. Like here's some pepperoni and sausage and bacon. Like that feels like a thing that was just so last decade in food, but chains are still doing it.
Yeah.
We got a garlic breadstick with a side marinara. I thought the garlic breadstick was hitting.
Me too.
It was good. We only ordered one, and that was
ordered one.
Maybe a strategic error.
Yeah,
we were dipping it in some marinara.
Weird to say garlic bread's like fantastic, I guess.
I thought it was great. Yeah, I don't love their marinara is the thing.
It was not great. It was just sort of like they scooped some of the marinara out of their like pasta bins.
Yeah.
Right? They had like some pasta tubs.
Yes, right.
Look, we covered a lot of this, but the marinara was a little watery.
It was a little watery. Well, no
thoughts on that?
No, this is the thing. I was like, hey, I actually went up and wasn't trying to be a Karen, but I went up to the manager and I was like, hey, I'm sorry, the marinara is a little watery. And she was like, I'm so sorry.
So sorry.
We have a new employee in the kitchen.
Yeah.
He's the deacon, the head of the smokers from Waterworld. I was like, oh, that explains it. You got the fucking deacon back there.
Rest in peace to the deacon.
Rest in peace to the deacon.
It's
Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper.
Yeah.
I did notice.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were well staffed.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Right? They had a couple employees. It wasn't like one person like overwhelmed trying to manage all the various tasks. So there's like one guy sort of putting the pizzas through the oven, one person at the register, one person who's you're throwing your orders to. And then I noticed Jodie Foster's character from Naiad was just yelling at the marinara, "Don't give up. You can do this."
I also was like, is there any other staff back there that could be causing this problem?
I remember, you asked that. Yeah, I remember.
A full rundown of staff.
And they said, oh, we did just hire Larissa Olenek. I said, who is that? And he said, oh, Alex Mack. I said, oh, Alex Mack.
Right.
And I said, but she's not going into water form. And she's like, yeah, she's moving back and forth between the kitchen. She's going into water form.
The whole thing, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you look that up? Or was that a poll?
Her name?
Yeah.
I looked up her name.
Okay. I either way, I'm impressed. But if you had pulled that clean, I would be doubly impressed.
By the way, I should know that because she does hang around she is like friends of friends in the comedy world.
Yeah.
And Jack Allison's dad did the visual effects for Alex Mack.
Great effects.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the slider effect.
Sliding.
Then Jack had the slider effect.
I like to eat.
He ate sliders. But anyways,
The garlic breadstick.
She was working back there in the kitchen.
Of course.
She was
Yeah.
working back there, and we got to move on. We do have to move on. We do have to move on, but also
Squirtle was there too.
Squirtle was also there.
Squirtle was there.
Blastoise was there.
And Squirtle was
Turtle was
yeah,
there.
and they were all the water types were there,
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, well that's got it. The video games are covered then.
It's our first day. That's what they said.
It's our first day, yeah. Well, because Pokemon usually can just say their name,
Yeah.
but then I think they were just so cornered. They were like, we can also additionally say it's our first day in this one instance.
We do have to talk about the other items.
We got to talk about the other.
We do have to talk about
We
them.
do. We really do.
I do just want to say I did turn to you guys at a certain point and say, do either of you have Spider-Man's number?
Right.
I know
because
you can't. There's no like signal for him. It's hard
Yeah.
to get his attention. I know he's mostly New York based.
Yeah.
Maybe he'd hit up in New York, the original New York Slice, one of their outposts, because it did feel like Hydro Man was just fucking causing havoc in that marinara tub.
I agree.
He was.
He was, and I was worried about it because I was like, things could quickly get out of control. But thankfully, the noble Prince Sidon from Breath of the Wild was back there.
You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
What?
This guy doesn't even work there.
Uh-huh.
But I looked at one table over, and Gizmo was eating a meal there.
Oh no!
And he touched the Stromboli, and then his back started to bubble.
Yeah,
and,
it was a whole thing.
Because it's so wet.
You don't want to get him wet.
Yeah.
I did also notice that there was a pointy witch's hat and broom just sticking up out of the marinara pod.
We sort of put together what happened because at first we're like, that's odd. And they're like, oh.
She slipped
right.
and fell in.
Naturally.
She was dancing on the countertop.
Yeah.
And she fell in sadly.
This is
R.I.P. to a real one.
I will also, can I just quickly say?
Yeah.
Weird day down there.
It was
a lot
really
of weird
strange.
shit. There's a lot of weird shit.
No, we have to move on.
We have to move on.
There's a lot of shit.
It was really strange.
Yeah.
And then, even when we're finished our meal, we're walking out of there, walking in, wearing a Sbarro name tag, Michael Phelps. It's like, well, yeah, of course, Olympics was a while ago. He's probably got a job now, but working in the Sbarro kitchen?
you here to serve up some slices? He went, no, to do some laps. Then he downsized himself. He got in the tub.
Yeah, he got downsized.
He did downsize.
They do have a downsizing machine
to an
there.
episode we'll record an hour from now.
The baked ziti was whatever. Like,
yeah,
right? Is that
Yeah.
what do you say about the? Like, I think it was like kind of.
It was fine.
It was just sitting there for so long that the pasta it was like wedding pasta. You know what I mean?
It was very much like wedding pasta. But you know what? I didn't
like
hate
a little
it.
limp in it. I didn't hate
terrible, but it was uninspired.
It had a lot of cheese and they put on some extra marinara, so it was fine.
If I'm them, I'm like, abandon pasta. You know?
They don't need to be doing it.
They don't need to be doing
They probably
it.
don't need to be doing it.
My guess is that there are like enough kids who want pasta where it's probably just a high margin item for them.
Right, because they just had ziti, chicken parm, spaghetti and meatballs.
Yes.
And I think those were the only three things in those tubs, right?
And it can't cost them much to have a steam tray of like limp spaghetti noodles. They just spoon some marinara.
They were looking
into.
limp.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We got I got a small Caesar salad, which was first off, it was a terrible salad container. It was way too small to mix dressing.
Yeah.
They were trying
way
to
too
pack it
small.
for you, but
They were trying to pack it. They were trying to pack in the romaine, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
It just shouldn't be in the side container. It should be in like a big circular bowl.
You need a
container.
bigger thing that you can mix. We also, for drinks, I got a fountain Pepsi, which was hitting. It was a good Pepsi. I mean, they do Pepsi products here, but that was a quality fountain Pepsi.
I got a strawberry lemonade, which was decent. You noticed a big kerfuffle here. They made a big mistake.
There was a little bit of a mix-up where they
It's probably because of all these employees that they had here.
It's probably they may be overstaffed, if anything.
Yeah.
They got a lot of people.
I would say
kitchen.
definitely overstaffed.
Yeah, definitely
With
overstaffed.
everyone that we listed, I think overstaffed. Right? I certainly wouldn't say understaffed.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Certainly not with Sebastian back there. And he's like,
he started to sing Under the Z.
He started to sing Under the Z.
You know what was bizarre too? I noticed that Pyro from the X-Men was there.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, what's he doing here? This like isn't on the game that we've established.
No, yeah.
And they were like, we hire him to melt Iceman. Like that's
That's too. It's too much.
It was too much.
2 extra people you don't need.
I mean, it was a lot of. It was well staffed.
We didn't even talk about how we had to repeat our entire order multiple times because who was manning the register? Dory. She kept forgetting.
Yeah.
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 It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
All that's true.
It's all true.
It's all true.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
It's
all
true.
of it.
It's true.
It's true. All of it.
That's true. All of it. It's a good line.
Great line. I thought the Pepsi was hitting. I don't know. Did the lemonade, strawberry lemonade? Oh yeah, what I was gonna say. They were mixed up. So one was labeled lemonade, one was labeled strawberry lemonade, but clearly a red liquid under lemonade and a yellow liquid in the strawberry lemonade.
Yeah.
I tend to go strawberry lemonade at places that have the option, or even raspberry lemonade's my favorite. The rare places you can find that.
I'll do a gussied up lemonade for sure. Yeah.
Great. You ordered the strawberry lemonade, and I was like, "Oh, I should order the regular so we can take sips of each other."
Oh, we never did
and then
that.
I forgot to do it.
Wow.
But I thought my lemonade was solid.
But strawberry lemonade was pretty good.
Yeah.
I liked it. I enjoyed it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mitch, I got myself a dilemma. I already have everything.
Why? 'Cause this is the same dilemma every year. You got everything you could ever want.
What do you get a man who already has everything?
Mm-hmm.
Well, put down the slippers, step away from the ties, and get your dad something unexpected, an Aura digital frame.
Wow. Aura frames are beautiful Wi-Fi connected digital frames that allow you to share and display unlimited photos. It's super easy to upload and share photos via the Aura app.
And if you're giving an Aura as a gift, you can even personalize the frame with preloaded photos and memories. Add unlimited photos and videos and invite as many people as you want to a frame. There are absolutely no hidden fees or subscriptions.
You have complete control over who has access to your frame, and the Aura app lets you share photos more securely than with email, which many other digital frames require. Share photos or videos from any device, and they will instantly appear on the frame wherever it is in the world. No memory card required.
I got my great aunt an Aura frame.
That's very nice, Wise.
Yeah, she loves it. Right now, Aura has a great deal for Father's Day. Listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $30 off their best-selling frame. That's AURAframes.com.
This deal ends June 18th, so don't wait. Use code Doughboys at checkout to save. Terms and conditions apply.
Any other thoughts on any of this? We should get to our fork scores.
I mean, I just feel like I was ready to rip into this place.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I was a very picky eater as a child, and pizza was one of the few things I loved.
Why don't you just roll out right into your closing argument?
Okay.
Here. I think you can do it.
I was a very picky eater as a child.
Yeah.
Pizza was one of the few things I loved. And so, any time my parents brought me into a situation where there weren't a lot of food options, especially an airport or something, that maybe I'm going to Sbarro type place.
Right.
And I think even as a child, I knew when I was having bad pizza. But it is the one thing that Shauna Halpern's correct about, which I think I've rarely had a slice of pizza in my life where I'm this is horrendous. This is inedible. Bad pizza's still pretty good to me.
Yes.
Maybe I'm just a basic bitch. But if you
it's
put,
maybe the only thing from her now. The analogy of
the other two, she's very wrong about.
Pizza's like sex is like improv,
right?
Yeah.
Or the Herald specifically.
Right. I've actually never seen good improv in my life.
Yeah, exactly. Always bad.
And a lot of sex is criminal.
Yeah.
Just as a starting point. A lot of it ruins lives.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But pizza, I'm I if I really dug, I could probably be I've had an unbearable slice, but I don't think I've ever had a slice I didn't finish.
Yeah.
Or refuse to finish on principle.
I've only had a bad pizza slice that's not even really pizza. Whatever. And not to shit on Z pizza or it was a corn-based pizza with whatever, tartar sauce.
Yeah, I think you're thinking of Mr. Pizza,
Oh,
Pizza
Mr.
for
Pizza.
Women,
Yeah,
which was
yeah.
a Korean pizza concept
Yeah.
that had some
Yeah.
toppings that were unconventional for a Western palate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess there's that. I guess there's people overcomplicating pizza. But I also think basically putting melted cheese and tomato sauce on anything is a baseline 2 for me.
Sure.
I eat dollar pizza a lot in New York City. Because I'm just
Is slice? Can you still get a dollar slice in
They're
New
a
York?
couple.
Wow.
They're a couple. There was Two Bros was the preeminent New York dollar slice chain that I think really capitalized upon the financial crash of 2008, 2009. And then got a bunch of 10-year leases. And suddenly they had 40 locations. and branding, and they seemed a little more upscale than the actual like 99-cent joints that always felt a little like transient.
Right.
Like sort of handmade signage and like scribbled on a wall or whatever.
Yeah.
And most of those closed in like 2018, the Two Bros, and now they're few scattered out. A lot of them have now gone up to like it's $1.05 a slice.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I lived close to one for a very long time, and I would like get slices there regularly. I remember sometimes drunk people yelling at me like, "Why the fuck are you eating that trash? You live in New York City, get a better slice." I'm like, it still kind of hits.
Sure.
Yeah.
I was ready to be harder on Sbarro because of my memory, possibly partially conflated with Familia's. But also this sort of like, why get the worst version of real pizza when in the fast food kingdom you could get something like Domino's instead? That's at least succeeding on a different level.
Right.
I felt like we had a couple 4-fork items.
Wow.
Yeah.
I at least like the buffalo chicken slice.
Yeah.
Kind of felt like a 4-forker to me.
Yeah.
A couple things were total whiffs where they should just take them off the fucking menu. Like they should go all in on the XL New Yorker slice. That's the only
totally agree.
fucking form factor they should have.
Yeah.
And I think the Stromboli could maybe use some further experimentation. I like what they're doing in that space. It is kind of interesting that they're not doing wilder experiments. That there's something of like a focus to Sbarro where they're not trying to like Frankenfood shit.
Yeah.
Like they're like, we're pretty classical, we're pretty basic. But I think on like balance, this is kind of like your ultimate 3-fork chain.
Wow. 3 forks.
Right?
Yeah. I think it's a fair score.
I think it's a great score.
We'll see where we all ultimately land.
I
but
thought I
3
was
forks.
going to come in at 2.5.
Yeah.
And I was
think
like,
it's a great
enough
score.
stuff I liked that I got to give him a 3. I got to put him over that hump.
3 forks out of 5.
Yeah.
Spoonman, what do you think?
Well, look, I do want to give a shout out to the staff there. I do. The staff there was great.
They were great.
They
They were
actually,
super nice.
We should mention, they all did their jobs very
Yeah,
They all did their jobs very well, including the 2 people who were not the 2 people who worked there that I didn't recognize from any movies or TV shows.
Didn't seem to have any affiliation with existing IP.
Yeah. So the guy who put our pizza...
They were original IP to the Sbarro's company. Male employee and female employee.
The guy who put our pizzas through the conveyor belt, I think it was Steve Zisso.
So he was.
Okay.
That was actually. That
That
was.
was-
did recognize.
I did recognize him.
Yeah. I recognized him.
Yeah.
And then
And the other guy was Jack Cousteau.
It was Jack Cousteau.
Right.
Wow.
It was both of them. And Steve Zissou was like, this is kind of interesting. I'm sort of based off of you. And he was like, yeah, I know.
Well, did you notice
Yeah.
when you took the elevators down to Sbarro that it was 20,000 leagues down? Did you notice that?
I did
I did
notice
notice.
that.
So, which was weird.
Yeah, we were riding
Yeah.
that elevator for a while.
Yeah. Kraken was there too. The Kraken.
Right, the Kraken.
The Kraken was
Kraken,
there. Yeah. But he wasn't at Sbarro, weirdly.
He was just doing his own thing.
Yeah.
He was waiting in line at Dr. Big Dick's Grill.
Oh, we forgot to mention that in the time we were there,
Yeah.
Dr. Big Dick got a restaurant in one of the unopened restaurants.
Yeah, we were there
Dr.
for
Big
a while.
Dick's Grill.
There's only one item on the menu.
Look.
Eggplant parm.
Which I kind of wish we'd try the chicken parm.
Yeah, we maybe should try
We
that.
thought about it.
We
Yeah,
thought
we
about
just
it
we
for a second.
ordered
We had
almost
ordered a
everything
lot.
for the menu.
They seemed very
We had a
confused.
lot.
They started bagging up all the slices
Right.
because they were like, why would you not get a pie and also sit here and eat all of this at once?
Yeah, because we effectively ordered a full pie's worth of pizza
Spread
and
out.
individually. But whatever. This is the exercise. We did say, and look, we always tip well at these sorts of things, but like I did not feel like I feel like we were confusing them. I didn't feel like we were inconveniencing them.
No.
A great degree. They just were not. They're usually people get a slice or two.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
I agree.
I thought the vibes at the food court were like pretty good. Like we're
Yeah,
pretty
for sure.
chill. Things were pretty calm down there, aside from the moment when Captain Ahab ran in with a harpoon and jumped head first.
That was a whole
into the
thing.
marinara tub.
Right.
Look,
And said, I'm going to catch that whale.
I should stop when I start Googling underwater Smurfs. to find out Snorks, which I realized it was the Snorks right
was
before
How
the
could we
result
forget
came
the
up.
Snorks?
Of course,
right.
the Snorks.
They were back there.
There's proof. Larissa Holinek. I went in with low expectations
Yeah.
for Sbarro, and they came in high above those expectations.
I think they've improved
High
their
above.
product.
There's much worse pizza. It's not great.
No.
It's not Golden Plate Club worthy. But I don't know if it gets as much. I don't know if it deserves as maybe it's not an Arby's exactly, because I think Arby's is more quality. But I think maybe it has that bad comedy reputation of being just like the go-to bad pizza spot.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go 3.5 forks actually.
3.5 forks.
I mean,
Wow.
look, we had a couple things that were not good.
Yeah.
That is for sure. But the slices that we had, and also like the things that we had that weren't good were stuff that I like probably wouldn't order anyways. The things that I would order hit pretty well.
That's
I
a
don't know,
good
3.5 forks.
The worst items were the items we only ordered for the sake of thoroughness.
Yes.
And even like maybe the worst thing was the spinach stromboli. I guess the spinach and mushroom slice was the worst thing.
That was I would rather
Right.
eat the spinach stromboli because like the spinach mushroom had no texture to it either.
But even the stromboli, you weren't like, this is terrible. You tilted your head and you were like, is this bad?
I was more confused by
Right.
it. I
Right.
could not have eaten the whole thing, but it wasn't.
Revolting.
Yeah, it wasn't awful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyways,
Wow. So you got 3 forks as well?
3.5 forks.
3.5 forks. I
3.5.
missed the half
Wow.
fork.
Wow.
Wow, 3.5 forks.
I thought about it, but you're a braver man than I.
Look, you can change it still.
Let me think. Let's see where Wags comes in.
I don't know if it's going to get the extra half fork from me, but I also don't think it's going to get a half fork deduction that I expected. In fact, I was expecting this could be a 1 forker. This could be a place that ends up in the reverse tenant club.
I
I
thought,
thought this might be really a wretched meal.
2.5 is like the high bar for this place.
I was
going in.
I was expecting this to come in around 2. I have not had great experience at Sbarro in the past. Like we talked about, or the last outing for the podcast was for the Tournament of Champions, and it didn't really do very well for itself.
I will say that like it was weird that like Briar Fox was warning us when we were like approaching Sbarro.
Yeah. He was saying
he was warning us about like that like there was a big
just be careful, like
be
don't
careful
go-
ahead.
yeah.
Yeah.
And also, Bob Iger was standing next to the marinara tub saying, "We've heard your complaints.
Yeah.
We're going to rebrand this.
Briar Fox.
We're going to work in more of the Princess and the Frog characters."
That's right.
Yeah.
Which-
and they were standing by.
They were
standing by. They
nearby.
were ready to go. They were in test mode.
I thought the New York
Jamie
slices.
stood up when I said Briar Fox there.
Not a great look, Jamie.
She's protesting.
She's just worried about foxes. Don't be scared, girl. There's I think the New York slices were fine to good.
Yeah.
And that's like, look, in terms of what the place is doing, if the place is marketing itself as the original New York slice, maybe they need to streamline their menu a little bit, but they seem to be doing that competently.
Yeah.
And especially in terms of mall food court tier food.
Mm.
Like, I thought those were totally fine.
Agreed.
I thought they were totally acceptable. Pan slices were bad. The breadstick was good. I mean, like, get some New York slices in a breadstick. You could be sitting pretty. Small Caesar salad we had was whatever. Baked ziti was whatever. The strombolis I didn't like. But my understanding when I was, like trying to evaluate what went wrong with a spinach stromboli, my understanding is that Echo the Dolphin was actually in the kitchen that day. So that could possibly be the deciding factor for it. But overall, I thought this was a fine meal, and I enjoyed myself. And I think I will go 3 forks. I think this is a 3-forker.
I think this is a classic.
Solid 3-fork restaurant.
I didn't want to say this out loud while we were eating, but I was like, yeah, this is like kind of the exact median point for fast food.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You could definitely do better, but you could definitely do worse.
Yeah.
I'd rather go back to a Sbarro than, I don't know, a lot of the chains we've reviewed here.
Do you ever hear that when Shigeru Miyamoto was creating Wave Racer 64, that he went to Sbarro to study the stromboli?
No, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
To like make so that he could get the physics of the water correct.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I also heard that U571 was shot entirely at Sbarro's location. because it would save them money.
I heard the same thing, actually.
Yeah.
And they reused some of those locations for K-19 The Widowmaker.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
Well, look,
Free Willy was there, okay? What do you want
Free
from us?
Willy
Free
was
Willy was
fucking
also there. Free Willy was there.
Free Willy was there.
Just eating. He wasn't working.
No, he's just hanging out.
Yeah.
He was just hanging out.
Oh, you know the whale was there.
Oh, the whale was
was
fucking
fucking
there.
there. Think the whale wasn't there?
He was down in slices. Well, I believe that he was upset because there was meatballs and strombolis, but there was no meatball sub, right? Wasn't that an issue?
Yeah, he was like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
And then James Cameron from the kitchen was like, someone say meatball sub? He's like, James, what that kind of sub?
Also, like, James, aren't you supposed to be making like 3 Avatar movies right now?
Yeah, what are
We're
you
all,
doing?
like,
Well,
waiting for
we
you.
were there. We saw him cast the whale for Avatar 3.
Right.
Yeah.
So the whale, Brendan Fraser is going to be like.
He's going to be, we're breaking it here. He's going to be in Avatar 3. We don't know what the role is, but I
think
heard,
it's Pyakon's brother.
I have heard rumors that it's Pyakon's brother.
We should also acknowledge there was a moment where the whale stood up in the food court, and it was very difficult. It was kind of a heroic moment that made us all cry.
Yeah,
look
right.
at the sort of endurance of the human spirit.
Yeah.
And then he reached up for like a big handle on a chain, like the way he showers.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of marinara came down.
Very flash dancing.
Yeah.
It's weirdly erotic.
Yeah, and then he started
Hey,
scrubbing himself with a stick.
welcome back to Doughboys. We're here with Griffin Newman, and hey, it's time for a segment. Before we get to that, we had like a bit of a stop down for tech reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think over the break we were like, it was really weird what was going on in that Sbarro kitchen, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Yeah. We did. We finally were like, wait. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, we
Right.
were all kind of like just kind of breezing through it as we were talking, but we had a second off mic.
Because
where
now
we
we're not
kinda turned it off.
performing anymore.
Exactly.
We're not
Yeah,
trying to like
yeah.
score laughs, and we're like, let's really kind of reckon with what we witnessed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was a lot.
It was a truly
Yeah.
strange experience.
And sometimes like trauma comes in waves. Like it takes a while to process where you're like,
Yeah.
that wasn't normal.
No, it was really,
You know?
it was
in the moment
really
you're just trying to survive.
truly a jarring day. I mean, I don't know what put you guys over the edge, but for me, it was realizing that, in the kitchen,
Mhm.
the lady in the water was there.
Oh yeah.
She was saying snarf.
She was there.
She
Yeah.
was there. Scrunts running around.
Yeah.
We did talk about Dr. Big Dick already.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Which was kind of like a sense that, like, is this okay to talk about? Are we making fun of this?
Right.
Witness
Mhm,
something that's like a little loaded, like the unhoused problem in Los Angeles is
Sure.
like no laughing matter and all of that. And I wasn't sure whether or not to bring this up because there's just like no way to make it funny.
Yeah.
That we did experience some pretty insane racism in that food court.
Mhm.
We witnessed the fire people from Pixar's Elemental
Yeah.
tell their daughter that she could not date the
Yeah.
marinara sauce.
Right. That was weird.
Because
That
they're
was
a different-
bad.
Really
They're different.
weird.
They're a bad type of person. They live in the
Yeah.
other side of town.
Yeah. No, it was bad.
And of course, Claude was just there.
Claude
being
was
like,
just there.
what's going on? Guys, come on. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to get a slice.
And everyone at
Yeah.
the food court gave him a standing ovation.
yeah,
And they
so
were like,
people were
Claude.
thrilled to see Claude from
Yeah.
Elemental.
He showed his one armpit leaf and people lost their fucking mind. But it wasn't funny. It
yeah.
it was sobering.
We
You just
should-
don't expect to see it in this day and
You
age.
don't expect to see it.
No.
We should really move on
Love
unless
is love.
unless you have
Love
something
is
to add.
love. Yeah, Mitch is already.
Love is love. Unless you have something to add, Mitch.
We should move on.
We should really. 'cause
Do
we
I
got-
have
We should
something to add?
really just remember if there was anything that happened that you haven't said.
No, I don't think that there's
Okay, great.
Great. Okay, moving on.
So we got a new segment for today.
Yeah.
you know what? There is maybe one thing.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
I saw there Mario was there,
Okay, well that's nothing unusual.
Yeah.
It's an Italian restaurant. I'm
Right.
expecting to see Mario there.
It's the food of his people.
and I was like, "Why are you here?" And he's like, "I'm here to pick up Plessy." And so I don't know.
Of course.
I'll hold this up for viewers.
Yes, right. Plessy, the giant dinosaur that he writes, kind of like the Ocean
On-
Yoshi.
The Ocean Yoshi. Yeah.
We should
yeah.
also mention it was specifically Mario from Sunshine, and his backpack tank was filled with
He had
marinara.
flood.
Flood was
filled with marinara.
His
Flood was
marinara
back there.
tank.
And he was also wearing the frog suit from
Yeah.
Super Mario Brothers 3, which I was like, that kind of a hat on a hat, but
Yeah.
whatever.
But
What are
he's
you
like,
gonna
this is how I can easily like navigate down
do?
here
Exactly.
in
You could
Sbarro.
swim around and get the marinara.
You know, I was gonna say character from Super Mario World.
Yeah.
And then I looked him up and his name is just Dolphin.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
that didn't work as
No.
well.
Yeah, there's just canonical dolphins.
Yeah. Anyways, that was that too. That
also happened.
That also happened.
All right, we got a new segment here. Emma, we got this queued up.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Hit the music. Frank check with Griffin and Mitchell.
Oh my God.
Frank check with Griffin and Mitchell. Hot dog grilled to eat or to digest. All you need to know is that the name of the segment's Frank check.
Wow.
Okay, this is Frank check. This is compiled by Amelia Marino.
Now, you've done flank check before.
We've done flank check before with Jamel Bowie. This is Frank check. This is a different segment.
Okay.
Mitch and Griffin are given a frame from a movie involving a hot dog.
Oh, wow.
And
One of the
must
Headgum
guess
hunks
which movie it's
looked
from.
in the window, I think. I don't know if they could hear you, but I don't know if they just sensed to be like, what's going on?
Something lame is happening.
Probably
say,
listing a bunch of fucking water-based characters or some shit.
They're laughing really hard at themselves for just pulling like surface level references. They did it for 20 minutes straight and then circled back for more. I will say Lane Montgomery, who wrote our theme song for the podcast and performs as well, is a big Doughboys fan. I know he was very excited when you did flank check with Jamel Bowie.
Wow.
It was like a great honor for him to hear his song Weird Al.
Shout out to Lane. Love the theme.
Yeah, that rules.
That's why we do it. All right, let's go ahead and get into Frank check. Here we are. All right, first up. And you'll see the frame.
Yeah.
This one's kind of a gimme just to set the baseline.
Everything everywhere all at once.
You'll see the frame, and then you can feel free to describe what you're looking at for our audio listeners. I mean, I can describe it some, but I'm worried I'll end up giving hints.
But is this a classic first to buzz in?
Yeah, first to buzz in.
Okay, and just say your name?
Yeah.
Griffin, it's everything everywhere all at once. It's the easiest point I've ever made in my life.
I said it.
You didn't say it. When did you say it?
I did say it.
He did kind of mutter it.
You didn't say your name.
I didn't buzz in.
This
shouldn't be a point.
I'm just gonna give. Well, this
Okay,
is
that was
the
a sample.
tutorial. This is the tutorial level.
Okay.
So we'll have the next one be the first real one.
Okay.
Emma, do you mind keeping score for me?
Yeah, I can keep
Okay,
Michelle Yeoh with hot dogs.
You turned on the competitive side. This is a movie thing. He's gonna kick my ass anyways. But
well,
I think you got a good chance.
You play your games. You do your grids.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah, let's see here.
Okay. Next
Everything
up.
everywhere all at once is the answer. We know.
Next up, yes, we've got
Griffin.
I heard Griffin first.
Well. Do
you want to describe what you're looking at?
Yeah, it's Slimer with a mouthful of hot dogs.
Got
it.
The
only thing I'm second guessing is if it's Ghostbusters or Ghostbusters 2, because the puppet is different. But I believe this is Ghostbusters 1.
Griffin, you are correct.
That's
you
correct.
get a point.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, next up.
Mitch.
Oh, fuck.
I heard Mitch.
Sausage Party.
This is Sausage Party. This is the animated movie, the very raunchy animated movie, and we have two sentient hot dogs here. Look a lot like the Wiener Schnitzel hot dog, America's Most Wanted Wiener. It's very similar character design. Okay,
America's
next
Most
up.
Wanted Wiener.
Griffin.
Oh, shit.
I heard Griffin.
This is Spider-Man 2.
You are correct. You
Yeah.
got the franchise and the iteration correct.
I think
Spider-Man 2.
This is from the Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head sequence,
Mm.
where he's enjoying life
yeah.
not being Spider-Man.
Right.
He sees a bunch of cop cars go by, and he has that moment of like, should I go help people? And then he just takes a bite of the hot dog and keeps walking. And that's sort of the high point of his life, that he can just enjoy a Frank.
Let me ask you about this this particular hot dog stand, the Sabrette. You see those a lot. Is that do you know if is that a sausage brand, or is that like a brand of like hot dog stand?
That's
is that like a franchise.
The brand is the type of hot dog, not the stand.
Got it.
You know, I think it's like sort of who are you buying your meat from?
Yes,
not that
right.
they control the carts.
You ever get something from one of those carts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Gets the job done?
I did the live show with you guys that was Nathan's.
That's right.
And I got like a dirty water dog to try to compare it to Nathan's at the time. But I think that's maybe the last time I got a street dog.
But was that specifically from the Sabrette umbrella place? Or you just sort of, it was, they're all kind of interchangeable?
Place like this.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't know if that was a specific thing or not.
There are a lot of them. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Next up, it's tied at
Mitch.
1.
Goodfellas.
Mitch, you are correct. You got Goodfellas, I believe your favorite movie. Is it what's the score now, Emma? I'm sorry.
2-2 tied.
Now it's tied up. Okay. So I was wrong.
next.
It was 2-1.
Okay.
Now it's 2-2. Next up.
2-2. What are we at the ballet? Mitch.
I heard Mitch.
This is fuck.
How long does he have before I can buzz in and steal it?
You can buzz. You can do it now if you'd
Griffin,
like.
Green Book, winner of Best Picture, Best American Film of the Year.
You are correct.
Correct.
The second Best Picture winner in this lineup
wow.
is Green Book.
What was the
Hollywood,
first
take
one?
note.
Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Of course.
You want to bring home hardware, put some Franks in your movie.
So it's 3-2 Griffin.
Okay.
Next up,
Mitch,
I heard Mitch.
Wizard of Oz.
You are correct. That
Wow.
is Toto eating a wiener in Wizard of Oz. Wow. All right. Let's go to the next one.
Ooh, I don't know.
So we just to describe it for audio listeners, we're kind of looking at a short order cook in a kitchen.
Mitch,
Yes.
Taxi Driver.
It's not Taxi Driver.
I got a couple ideas, and I'm going to take a swing.
Go for it.
Is this the Muppets Take Manhattan?
No, Mitch was
It looked like Pop's Diner.
close-ish.
bit.
This is a Scorsese movie. This is The Irishman.
Wow.
This is a shot from The
wow.
Irishman.
Oh my God! You know
Yeah.
what? Good for that because it looks older
Yeah.
than.
It really
Yeah.
does. Yeah, great production design. All right, next up. This is tough because all we have to look
Griffin.
at. I heard Griffin.
I think this is Father of the Bride, Nancy Meyer's Father of the Bride movie.
Griffin,
That's impressive.
unbelievably, you got it. For our
That's
audio
the most
listeners,
impressive
This
one.
is a
That's
close
insane.
up. This
Yeah.
is basically an insert of two
Diane Keaton's
hands
hands.
of Diane Keaton's hands. But
Yeah.
I mean, unless you know the movie, you don't know whose hands they could be.
Yeah.
And a Vaughn's hot dog buns
It's
brand.
one of the best bits in that movie.
Yeah.
That they sell hot dogs in different quantities than buns.
Oh, that's right.
You go to the supermarket, you never get an even match. You either have too many dogs or too many buns.
Yeah.
And shout out to Big Picture, great movie podcast. They did a Steve Martin Hall of Fame episode recently and spent a lot of time talking about that bit.
Wow.
And so it's just fresh in my mind.
Love
There
that
you
movie
go.
as a child. Have not seen it for a long time. That was a good.
Yeah, it's been a
pull.
long time for me.
Yeah.
All right, next up,
Oh man.
another tough one. So we've got again just kind of basically another
Yeah.
insert. We've got a hand handing a hot dog to another hand.
Going off the shirt. I'm trying to
That's
see
what
if I
I'm going
recognize-
off the shirt. I think it's like a Bronx Tale. Mitch, a Bronx Tale. I don't think it's that, but I'm
It's
trying.
not a Bronx Tale.
It looks Bronx Tale-y.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be wrong here. Griffin, it's not Saturday Night Fever, is it?
It is not Saturday Night
Ooh.
Fever.
Yeah.
It's
This
a New
is-
York-based
It's
movie.
a New York. It
It's
looks like a
gotta
New
be,
York
right?
picture.
I did. So this isn't for points, just to see if we can get it.
Yeah.
This came out in the 90s.
Okay.
This has a fairly all-star cast. Director Barry Levinson.
Is this isn't Liberty Heights? Is that what it is?
It's not Liberty Heights. This movie is. Here's a hint. One of the stars of this movie
Mm.
has a last name that is a food.
One of the stars of this movie has a last name as a food. It's a Barry Levinson movie. It's not Bugsy?
It's not Bugsy. This movie is very upsetting. I remember seeing this movie thinking it'd be cool, and
this
it's
is
a bummer.
Sleepers.
This is Sleepers.
Oh,
Kevin Bacon.
Bacon.
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah,
I've never seen that film because it just feels like such a bummer to me.
it's a complete bummer.
Yeah.
Man, I
nothing
haven't seen
fun at all.
Sleepers since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever it came out on VHS or something.
And it's a movie it's like Kevin Bacon, Robert De Niro. It's like, and it like the way it was marketed is
Yeah.
kind of like, oh, it's like this
All-star
cool
cast.
like prison movie or whatever. And then you
Right.
watch it like, Jesus Christ, this sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, I maybe it's good. I don't remember
This
if it was
was
good or
an
not. I just remember
insane.
it's upsetting.
This was even
Yes.
crazier than.
That one's crazy.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know how Amelia even pulled that. Like, did she just have that top of mind? Was she just thinking of the hot dog from
She
Sleepers?
she must have. Did she look up hot dog scenes?
But why?
That feels so specific.
It's so
to even
specific.
call that a scene.
Yeah.
Also,
Maybe she
I
loves
mean-
Sleepers.
Maybe she.
She might.
Maybe.
That's a guy that would track. Amelia's favorite movie is Sleepers.
See if she's logged in on Letterboxd.
What's our?
That's a
yeah,
great question.
Yeah.
Check the skid mark letterbox. See if she's given 5 stars to Sleepers. Emma, what's the score at?
We got Griffin with 4, Mitch with 3.
Wow. Okay. So this
Okay.
decides whether it's a tie or
Gotta
whether
focus up.
Griffin
No time to look at the Letterboxd.
wins outright.
Okay.
One more.
I don't know it.
We see 4 hot dogs.
I'm so sad.
They appear to have kraut on them. Am I correct? Is that kraut?
Looks like kraut.
Yeah.
Do we want a hint?
Kraut.
Yeah. Can you give us No, I mean dealer's choice hint. I was going to say year of the movie, but you can
I'll give you the year. It's 1997. This is a rom-com.
Is this my
And-
Griffin? Is this my best friend's wedding?
It's not my best friend's wedding. It's the same sort of era, obviously. The star of this movie recently passed away, very sadly.
Star of the movie recent.
Can I buzz in again?
What do you think, Mitch?
I'm gonna let him because I'm trying to think of a star that passed away recently. It's very sad.
Well, let's say this. If I'm wrong with my second guess, I'm down for the count.
Wow.
Okay, go ahead.
Fools Rush In.
It is Fools Rush In, the Matthew Perry, Salma Hayek rom-com.
I never would have gotten it.
And these are, again, I don't remember the shot at all, but
I don't either.
Apparently it has 4 hot dogs in it.
Wow.
I was gonna guess Saving Private Ryan.
Probably my favorite
Kraut,
rom-com.
the sauerkraut. They're in Germany at one point.
A rom-com?
Yeah.
There's funny moments, and there are sad, and there are kind of romantic moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a bromance.
It's got a little bit of a bromance.
Yeah.
There's him and his wife at the end.
Right, it's true.
Yeah, when Matt Damon gets old very quickly.
Cries a bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, that was Frank Check. Congrats, Griffin.
Oh, huge.
Just like a restaurant via your feedback, let's open the feedback. Today's email is from
Congrats.
Robert.
It was a well-won battle.
Well fought.
Great competitor.
Not easy to go up against the king of the box office game.
No.
This man knows his movie
I think you
trivia.
should have won off of Parenthood just alone. I think you won
Father
that
of the
one.
Bride.
Yeah.
So, well, see, I got it wrong again.
Maybe dock him another point.
Now I'm down to 2 points?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Just like a restaurant, we value your feedback. Let's open up the feedback. Today's email is from Robert in Des Moines. Robert writes, your episode discussing Siskel and Ebert with Matt Singer made me think of the time Roger Ebert appeared on the short-lived TV show Early Edition to explain why parents die in movies to a child. Let me say that again. To explain why parents die in movies to a child. I have no knowledge of this. As food critics, what harsh lessons about food would you teach to a child, and what TV show would you cameo in to teach the lesson other than To Catch a Predator? All right. Well crafted, Robert.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess the idea is like, hey, let's
what
get
I'm
real
gonna do?
about food for a little bit, kids.
I'm gonna start a thing called To Catch a Redditor, and I'm gonna go to the Doughboys Reddit and be like, hey, let's talk shit about Mitch at this house, and then they come in,
Yeah.
and I say, take a seat,
It's you.
and it's me,
Yeah.
and I catch the Redditor in the act,
And they got to deal with you crying.
yeah.
Why were you mean?
Why'd you do that?
Why were you mean to the Doughboys?
Look, I didn't think it through, but I just thought To Catch a Redditor was
That's fun.
gold.
Yeah.
It was good.
So anyway, it's gonna happen. Okay, so here we go. What?
I've noted, I'm looking at your account, DarthCum420. In addition to pointing out goofs and factual errors in Doughboys episodes, you also post on the Hot Wife subreddit looking for a third. We got horny fans. A tough food lesson.
Yeah.
Hey, let's get real about food for a second. For me, the big thing was like it was years before I realized that I was not invincible. That, like I thought
yes.
I could eat whatever and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
And I just sort of be like, you gotta fucking prioritize. I'll just be graphic for an episode that's been remarkably clean by our standards.
It's all that water.
Probably all the water. Yeah, that's probably has a lot to do with it.
There's a food lesson. Drink more water.
Stay hydrated. That's
Stay
a great-
hydrated. That's a really good lesson.
I would just like prioritize your guts, prioritize how you shit, because like you will if you eat bad food, it will make your shits uncomfortable, and that will set you up for failure. Like that you're going to pay for it the next day or just throughout your life.
The bill comes due eventually.
Exactly,
And you
right.
would deliver that message on Global Guts. That's the show you
I
would
would,
go
yes,
on.
yeah.
Do you know what else was weird
What?
at Sbarro?
Yeah.
The shower from Psycho was there.
That was weird, and I was like, and we were like, which Psycho is that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
because I couldn't tell if it was black and white or if it was just silver.
this-
looking
yeah,
I
it was
at
saw
it.
from my glasses were off.
we
and I
couldn't
was
really
yeah.
tell. Is
trying
it,
to-
is it the modern? Is the Gus? And then we realized it was the Gus Van Sant Psycho remix.
Yeah.
Remake rather,
Mhm,
because just like looking through a peephole was Vince Vaughn, and he was jacking off.
Yeah.
Which that's the big thing. The canonical difference is the Norman Bates in the Gus Van Sant version jacks off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it was good. It was good to clear it up.
It was good to clear it up.
Yeah, I didn't know if I had to see him. I didn't know if I want to see Vince Vaughn jacking off, but it was.
You know who did want to see it?
Who's
Fucking
that?
Whale.
Whale like that.
He was looking back through the peephole.
So they were making like direct eye contact. By direct, I mean their eyeballs were touching. They were just.
Anyways, yeah,
It's a crazy day at
yeah,
Sbarro.
yeah.
was crazy.
Totally nuts.
Wise, I think that is a good one. I think here's like the lesson that's hard to realize is that when I was younger, I think I realized milk affected me before I realized that also all the products of milk affect you.
Right.
So it's like, oh, my stomach hurts. And it's like, milk affects you, but cheese affects you too, young man.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't realize that cheese could have such a bad effect. I mean, I think that's most of it is the hard lessons are like cheese, milk products, cheese included, spice. These are just like your stomach is going to hurt lessons.
You know what's a big one I wish I could like
But we're also not, are we not telling this to children, are we?
No, we're telling this to children. That's the idea. I think a big one I would be like stop drinking like sugar water, because that's a big thing of just like drinking so much sugar and then your palate becomes so accustomed to sweetness.
You know who's going to get pissed at you?
Who?
The alien from Men in Black.
Edgar.
Yeah.
Or the bug in the Edgar suit.
Yeah.
I should be
Don't
specific.
worry
Edgar
about
himself
Edgar
didn't care
himself-
for sugar water.
Right.
Yeah.
But he was a bad guy.
He was a bad guy.
It was a bad guy.
He was a bad guy. But the bug in the Edgar suit.
The bug
loved
in the
sugar
Edgar
water.
suit.
It's his favorite meal.
I'm not worried about him. I would just say things like full sugar sodas, juices, fucking Capri Suns, like full sugar Gatorades, things that I drank so much of as a kid, like punch, like fruit punch. If you can get away from that, then your palate is less accustomed to sweetness. And also, those are like the emptiest calories you can possibly consume.
Sure.
For the most part, there's no nutritional value from any of that.
That is a weird thing when you're younger. Like, drink your orange juice and be healthy. And you're like, Ma, there's a lot of fucking sugar in this.
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
I know the prompt was like specifically a message to deliver to children, our future as a civilization.
Right.
I'm going to modify it a little bit. I'm going to say my message would be, hey, fucking Sbarro, drop the thick crust. And the show I'd want to deliver that on is the State of the Union.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Let's just simplify this.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
What's some other lessons? Food lessons.
How about learn to cook a few dishes? Learn to do some simple, like a little bit of cooking. Because if you can make even like a grilled cheese sandwich, like the most basic sorts of things, if you can hard boil some eggs, just a like baseline kitchen skills so that you're not completely stranded or forced to order delivery, particularly when you're in a time in life when you're maybe not, when you're younger and you're broker or whatever, just knowing how to make a few things is helpful.
I could have used that lesson.
Yeah.
That's a good lesson.
Too late for me now.
Yeah, same with me. We're done.
Never going to learn.
We're halfway through. I'm at least halfway through at this point.
Yeah.
41? Come on. You think I'm going to live another 41 years? I don't think so.
I think you are, Mitch.
82?
I'd say...
I'll die the year I was born? That would be pretty...
Whoa.
That would be pretty
What
wild.
synergy that would be.
It's good synergy.
Born in 82, lived to 82.
It's good Mitchell synergy. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
All right,
Mitch, you know what I'm looking forward to?
What's that?
Your 82nd birthday party. I'll see you there.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Wait, the year I die?
Your final birthday. We'll be there.
I'll make sure of it.
Wow. What the? I think Griff is threatening to kill me.
Saying it's going to be a fun party with a lot of surprises.
It's wild how far in the future that would be if it happens. 4 decades from now.
Yeah.
4 decades from now. Who knows what the future holds?
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sure that.
Will there even be podcasts?
And also, what's going to happen at that point? The water wars. People are going to be fighting over Sbarro.
Yeah.
Different nations fighting over who owns Sbarro.
That's true.
Yeah.
The Marino will be at the center of it all. If you have a question or comment about the Word of Chain restaurants, you can email us at feedback@birdfuck.com or leave us a voicemail at 830-GO-DOUGH. That's 830-463-684. And to get the Doughboys Double, our weekly bonus episode, plus our entire pre-2018 back catalog, subscribe at patreon.com.
We didn't really answer that question well, but our lunch has been here for a half an hour.
I think we answered it pretty well.
Yeah.
I feel pretty good about how we answered that question.
Yeah.
Our producer is Emma Erdbrink. Our associate producer is Amelia Marino. Our engineer is Casey Donahue. And our video editor is Mike Dorfman. Our guest has been Griffin Newman. Griff, thanks so much for joining us. Anything you'd like to plug?
Truly my pleasure. Is there a notion of when this episode will come out?
It looks like the first week of June right now.
First week of June.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll say Blank Check with Griffin and David, my podcast I host with David
podcast.
Sims, where you
One
go
of my
through
favorites.
filmographies. You guys have been on a number of times now. A couple of our biggest episodes ever.
Wow.
We
Can't be right.
No, true.
It means in terms of total weight.
Couple of our heaviest episodes ever. But I was looking at the schedule because I don't want to spoil an announcement.
Yes.
But one of the wet movies we discussed may be coming up a little later in the summer. I'm going to check. I'll just say that I don't want to call the shot yet. But at this point, when the episode comes out, we'll be doing Martin Brest.
Oh,
the films of Martin Brest, who did Beverly Hills Cop and Midnight Run, and then made Geely.
Yes.
Wow, that's right.
Wow.
Kind of classic rise and fall arc. And Masters of the Universe Revolution, which you kindly shout out in the intro, is a cartoon show. I play Orko, and I'm very proud of it.
And that's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix. The first season's called Revelation. The second season's called Revolution. They list them as two different shows. Makes sense.
And you're also plugging a director with a food name, Martin Brest.
Martin Brest.
Wow.
True.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Chicken breast or turkey breast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Human
or
breast.
for a baby, human
Yeah.
breast.
There you go.
The original restaurant.
That's the
Yes,
first.
me?
That's first.
If you ask me,
The original
I
restaurant
would
is
tell you
human
that's
breast.
the original restaurant.
One last thing I noticed is this was kind of sad.
Yeah.
At the bottom of the Stromboli, do you know who I saw there trying to get up the Stromboli? The itsy bitsy spider.
That'll do it for this episode of Doughboys. Till next time, for the Spoon Man, Mike Mitchell, I'm Nick Weiger. Happy eating.
Because it's you get it.
Hey, buddy, want Doughboys merch? We're talking hats, shirts, sweatshirts, patches, glasses, all sorts of stuff. Aprons. It's all available at kinshipgoods.com/doughboys. That's kinshipgoods.com/doughboys. Sources for the intro are in the episode description.
That was a Headgum podcast.